hello, welcome. It is Sunday. That means only one thing. It is Warhammer Sunday. As always, please let me know if you can hear me and see me okay. All my technical checks in the world don't mean that I can't screw things up. So for all I know, you can neither see me nor hear me. Welcome all, it is Sunday, Warhammer Sunday. If you've never seen one of these before, during the week I do my day-to-day stuff, and then at the weekends I work on my Warhammer army, the unending forces of the Holy Contrivance, a Principality of Xeon from the Mobile Suit Gundam universe, themed Imperial Guard army. And at the moment I'm working on this chimera, which is very, very beautifully gifted to me, but that's what I'm working on at the moment. And it is, like I say, a Principality of Xeon themed army. It's going to have all kinds of things like knights and armigers. It's got various vehicles. It's got some scions and some bog standard Imperial Guard and some AdMech and all different things. And we're doing them all custom colours. So at the moment I say I'm working on this chimera. Now, if you've not watched one of these before, basically I'll go through all the spiel now. I will just sit and work on this little puppy here. I've probably got the camera in just the wrong place, so you'll see all day is my hand doing this when I'm painting. But I'm going to be working on my chimera. You can hang out in the chat and hang out with each other and hang out with me. I have the chat just here, you can see it. The idea is that I'll just pootle along and try and do some work, and you guys can just have fun in the chat. If you want to ask me a question, everything like that, you can do. Please, for the love of dog, do give me things to talk about in chat, because God knows I need to fill 3 hours somehow. I will be working on this. We'll do some sticker giveaways a bit later on. I'm still not doing the wheel of giveaways as yet, because I'm still trying to sort myself out financially. So, yeah, that will come back, but don't worry, just not at the moment. But yeah, we'll carry on. Now, as always, if you want to ask me any questions or get my attention in chat, feel free, just put your question or your comment in big, fat, capital letters, so I can't possibly miss it. It's just there, so I have a better chance of seeing it now. If you want to, there you are, more than welcome to use the super chat. It's the little dollar symbol down here. You can see it at the bottom of the chat window. Maybe you can see it, I don't know. That just puts your chat in a coloured box and makes a little noise at my end, so I can see the chat and see that you've done super chat, so I have no chance of missing it whatsoever. As always, though, don't forget, if you want to, if you can't get in chat at all, if you're watching this and you can't see the chat, you can see chat here. Where is it? There. But that's not the typey chat. If you want to join in the typey chat, just click the little YouTube icon that's down here in the bottom right hand corner of the screen somewhere, and that will take you to the YouTube page where you can join the live chat as well. You need a keyboard and the ability to use it, and that's all you need. So do come and join in the live chat. It's a good time to be had by all. As always, we have the Stream Boss Battle is going on. You can see Aviad's health bar up here. If you don't know what that is, Stream Boss Battle is Aviad is the current Stream Boss. He won last time. He's the current Stream Boss, and he starts off with 100,000 health. And your job is to get his health down to 0. And whoever gets him to 0 wins 200 to 300 quid's worth of Games Workshop or Forge World goodies, kits, or tools, whatever you want to choose for. I just tell you how much you've got, and you choose what you want. The way you do it is you can either, if you're not already subscribed to this channel, then become a subscriber. That takes a tiny bit of his health off. If you want to, every time you use a super chat, remember the little thing down on the chat window, if you use a super chat, that takes a bit of his health off. Or if you want to, you can put a tip through the tip jar, which is down here, streamlabs.com/modelmakingguru. Again, a tip will take a small amount of his health off. And the bigger your tip, or the bigger the amount you put through Streamlabs, the bigger health kick he takes. Like I say, if you get him down to 0, all that money that's raised goes into the pot, and if you win, get him to 0, you win the pot of money. Basically, you tell me what you want, I tell you what the budget is, and then I just send you all that stuff. Games Workshop or Forge World. So, do play along, it's jolly good fun. Anyway, what are we going to be doing today? Like I say, I'm working on my chimera. I'll have a quick look at the chattings. Now, of course, as always, I have my enormous cup of coffee, which doesn't even fit on camera now. Now I've moved the camera, and it's right where my enormous cup of coffee tends to go when I move it. So I'm sure I'm going to knock the camera many times. I'm going to try different. I'm always trying different camera positions, so we'll see how it goes. This might just end up with you seeing my hand like this all day, which will be a right pain in the bum for you guys. So I'm just going to move my chair around a bit so I can sit at a jaunty angle, and maybe you won't see my hand all day. We'll have a quick look at chat. Now, it looks like possibly Chris at Gross Models was the first one in chat. However, George Gabriel was in. He said that he seems to have been in chat since last week. So I think that makes George king of the lab. What else do we have? Let's put that there out of the way. So we have Chris at Gross Models and Dad, 2 of your mods for today. Dad, Mike Mountain over at Scaly Models. He's in chat as well. Welcome, guys. George Gabriel. Tyrone Key is in. Hello everyone. Pascal Leverse, yep, welcome, dude. Who else do we have? Christopher C is in. Just scrolling through now. Quano Man is in. Welcome, welcome, both of you. We also have Paul at Team Inept turned up and said Parp. So, yep, that's a good start. Typical start for Paul there. Wayne Haywood, hi all. Welcome, Wayne. And the chat starts to jump. And I'm just going to leave these brushes because I really... See, I can see the tablet here, which is handy. But if I want to scroll up and down, I have to use my left hand. Otherwise, my arm's over the camera all the time. That's really rubbish for you guys. Who else do we have? We have Dad said something and then retracted it. Dad, what did you say? Nim Cinderin is in. Welcome, Nim. Osric 9000. Yo, dudes, I'll just send you all the stickers now, Osric. Should we just do that? Scott Sutherland is in. Welcome, afternoon, Scott. Snowman HFC, afternoon all. Welcome, Snowman. Wayne Brown. Hi, guys. First time watching the live stream. Hey, Wayne, you're more than welcome to join us. Thank you for coming in. I can't promise you it'll be anything interesting, but hey, it's always worth having a look. So welcome to all those people. Like I say, over the course of the show, if you want to ask questions and stuff, just put the questions in chat, and I've got a better chance of seeing them now. So how is everyone? I'm just going to have a few quick swigs of coffee before I get going. How the devil are you all? I hope you're all well. It's warm and sunny here today, but also windy as hell. It's warm and toasty outside, but there's like cows going past the window and grain silos and things. So there you go. Hey Wayne, says Paul at Team Inept. Hey Wayne is here painting. Oh dear. Shut up, Paul. I don't know. Right, so the plan for today. Yeah, we need to do more on this. I was planning or thinking of doing a stripy stripe somewhere. Because if you remember on my Taurox, I did the Xeon symbol with some red and black and white striping. And I was trying to think where to put it. Now on the Taurox, I did it where the Aquila was, so I might do it here, but I've got this little hatch door thing in the way, so I might have to paint that as well, so we'll see how that goes. I might do it here. Cy Reynolds says, Shellkek Nemrom, peeps 10 XP to anyone that gets that. It's a Stargate reference, I think. Shellkek Nemron. Jafar. Kree. I can't think of what it means though. It's a phrase and it probably means something. I can't remember what it was. See, I've got smarts. Although I've just said that out loud and ruined it for everybody else now. So sorry about that. Should have kept quiet, shouldn't I? Oh well. The print guru is in. So look, print guru says, do stripes at the front as with World War I tanks. Do you mean on the front here at the sides, or do you mean on the front there? I was thinking of doing it here, because sometimes you do see them with stripes there, but it's gonna be a bit of a ball ache to get around all these little vents and this tube thing here. Front of the tracks, yes, okay, I got that. Got you. Christopher C, doing well here, waiting on that warm spring weather in the States. Oh, cool. Yeah, we're waiting on that as well. Is it wrong that I laugh when you all say it's windy, says Scott? Yeah, Scott lives in Orkney, so wind to us is like a slight breeze to him, and wind to him is like a tornado to us. Paul Di Tommaso is in. Welcome, Paul. Right, should we get some work done? Yay. So, yeah, stripage. I don't know. I'm tempted. To do me, because you do see these Warhammer tanks with stripes on the front. But I would have to... The difficulty I've got is this isn't just a flat green colour, so I can't... If it was just a flat green colour, I could paint the stripe and then paint the green to tidy up the edge and go back and forth and tidy it up. Unfortunately, I don't have that luxury because I've done some fading and shading. If I paint the line and it goes a bit wonky like that, I haven't got the luxury of being able to tidy it up because I can't reproduce the fading and shading. So that's what's putting me off a little bit. Don't know. Well, we'll think on that for a bit. I've got other bits to paint for now anyway. So what we need to do, I'm not going to paint the dude yet. I've not decided on the final colour scheme for my Imperial Guard, bog standard Imperial Guard dudes just yet. So I'm not going to paint him just yet. I'm not sure what I'm doing with them. So what we can paint though is, before we get going with all the weathering, I've got to shade all these weapons. I've got to paint, I've got to do colour for the ammo crate because I've got some metallic on that. Got to paint the housings for the weapons. I have to paint this bit of stuff around the heavy bolter on the front. Got to paint the missile. What else can I paint? Got to do all the gold trim, the basic gold colour. I've got to figure out which bits of the las guns I'm painting. These las guns are going to be metal and which aren't. And then I've got to paint that aerial, which I totally didn't do. I don't think there's much after that then. Because then I'm going to do things like the little sort of periscope windows here, but I'm going to paint them separately or after lots of other things have been done. Because I've got lots of other shading and weathering to do on those. So, okay, right, what we'll do first, I think, is we will get a base coat down on this missile here. We're going to paint this white, I think. White with a coloured warhead and perhaps white or off grey, something like that. We'll figure it out. Anyway, let's have a quick look at chat. By the way, just so you all know, I'm hoping in the next day, not today, but maybe tomorrow, to get to post office. I've got 1 billion stickers to send off. I've got the new Gundam to send off to the person that won that from the 20,000 subscriber giveaway. Jamie Bowen, I've got some bits to send you, so I'm hoping to do that in the next couple of days. So stay tuned for envelopes and packages incoming over the next few days. Right, let's have a look. Rugis says, this takes me back to my youth of building Chimera 172nd armor kits in the early 80s. Thanks. Yeah, it's kind of where I'm getting my experience from, because I used to build Chimera in those days. Rugis, smash that like button, folks. Thank you very much. Celestia Grey, hang on. Cyril says Celestia Grey with Mephiston red warhead, or one of the ammo by MiG metallics like the warhead metallic blue if you have it. Well, I was going to do Celestia Grey with the white over the top. However, what I do have, and I received this just a couple of days ago, is the Artificer tint set. So I can, if I want to do a metallic blue, actually get myself a pot of lead belcher and add some of the blue tint to it. And make myself, just like in the Warhammer TV video, make myself a slightly sort of candy, steely blue metallic effect. But I'm not sure yet. I think it'll be Celestia Grey with, and then maybe some Ulthuan Grey over the top. Just maybe Ulthuan Grey. And then the warhead part here, I don't know. Maybe greys, a darker grey and a yellow, maybe? We'll see. Gun should be painted in a subdued blued colour as if it were silvered. Would it rust in the field of combat? Just my humble opinion, says Regis. Yes, I know, this is just a base coat of lead belcher. I've just got a base coat of lead belcher down there for now. There's lots more to do on those. I'm just starting off with that. So don't worry, they're not going to stay like that. They're not going to stay looking crappy silver. Don't worry about that. Don't you worry yourself about that. Yeah, right. Swig of coffee. And what we shall do is we shall do. I think what we'll do is, with the las cannons here and the heavy stubber on the turret, we're going to go for a darker metal option, but I think I'm going to make the casings. Oh, there's a big gap there. I didn't quite get lead belcher paint on the round bit. That's a bit rubbish. See, it's the round bit of that that's giving me pause, because I don't want it to be green like the rest of it, because that paint would all wear off anyway, so I'd rather keep it bare metal. So I'm going to give them a couple of coats of null to start with, and what I might do is just make the casings much darker. So we'll get the null oil going first. So let me find the null oil first. Shaking, the null oil. Now I need to find a shade brush. Shade brush. There is my shade brush. I put it here somewhere. Base, Artificer, shade. There we go. Shade brush. Something fell off a brush. There we go. Right. So what we're going to do is get some null oil going on. So I've got my little dad device there. I can get the lid off. There we go. So we'll start on those guns. We may as well. Hey, Fox, as I said, heavy stubber, says Team Inept. Yes, very good. I thought that might trigger you. So we're going to get this bit done first. So what we're going to do is going to give it a quick coat of the null oil on the weaponry. We'll probably do a couple. But yes, and they're not going to stay this silver. They are going to be weathered down. I want to get them darker first of all. Just to darken them down. I always just start with a lead belcher just to get that sort of base metallic colour. Doesn't by any long stretch of the imagination mean that's what colour it's going to stay. And I hope this isn't just a shot of my hand. Let's take this turret off so I can see. Easier, isn't it? They're not going to stay this lovely silver colour. So I'm not being careful at this stage, I'm just getting the shade on there. And what I may as well do is do the rest of the metallics as well while I'm here. So again, not being careful. You know me, I don't do careful unless I have to. I don't do delicate painting jobs. But I do far too much null oil on there. Let's get that, mop that up. That's a big splodge I didn't want. Right, how is this looking from you guys? For you guys, I've probably got the camera in just the wrong place. Bit of null oil on those. Got some null on this bolt gun. Just on the metallic parts. I definitely want some on the missile rack here, just to give it some definition. Definition. The good thing with null oil is you can be totally over the top and over heavy with it if you want to. It really is. These shades really are just talent in a bottle, as they are labelled by people that use them. Now we're going to do the dozer blade as well, I think. And for this, we're just going to go in hard and heavy. On the metallic parts, because these are going to be battered and weathered. So this is just to get some shading on here for the moment. It's by no means going to be the final colouring shade. This is just to give them some definition. We've got some underbits here. Ooh, underbits. Underbits, my lady. Now, as I say, when I'm painting these, I don't plan my painting process. I just kind of go in and start doing stuff, which is why I might seem a little undecided as I'm going along. It's purely because I haven't planned anything. I'm just winging it, and I always do. It's much more fun to wing these things than carefully plan and prepare everything. Sometimes you need to. There are some jobs where you need to do careful plan and prep. But when I'm just painting something to get played on the tabletop, it doesn't need to be a masterwork, then it's fine. I'm going to put this on top of something because otherwise it's just going to stick to the board. So I'll put that there to dry. And we shall do the same with the turret here. Again, just a fairly generous coat of null oil, just to get going with it. I'm sure there'll be other colours going on these metallic parts. I'm just getting the definition here for now. Now let's have a think. What's been going on this week that I can tell you about? Not a lot, really. I've started work on the next episode for Warhammer Conquest. So I've started building the biologist putrifier. Subscribed. Who's just subscribed then? It was. We have Mark Bukamune, if I pronounced that right. I do apologise if I haven't. Mark Bukamune. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for subscribing. It's taken a little bit of Aviad's health down, a little tiny bit. It's a jolly good effort. Thank you for the sub. I really appreciate it. Yeah, so we're just getting this base colour on here for the moment. I'm going to paint the casings around these bolters and stubbers and things, so I'm not too fussed if I'm getting shade on the green part for the moment. But yes, I have kind of made a rod for my own back with the green because I did I've kind of put a dry brush pre-shade effect to it. I'm kind of knackered now that I can't just go willy-nilly and paint things over it because I can't touch things in. Like I said, if it was a flat green colour, then that'd be easy. I'd just paint a stripe and then paint the green to bring it back to a straight line. It's not that easy to do when the green colour underneath is not actually flat. Fox, the slogan on the dozer blade will be cool like "Eat this or knock knock." Actually, I've got to tell you, I've been on a Halo kick in the last couple of weeks, and it's been all I can see in my head now is Sergeant Johnson going, "Hey bastards, knock knock." When you're building a little tank, I'm pretty sure you have to do at least one Grib impression because it's the law. Probably. Yeah, probably. Building my little tank. Right, so I'm going to let that shade dry for a minute. I'm going to have a swig of the coffee. The only problem with doing shades, I've got to sit around whilst it dries. Okay. I do need to paint the aerial on this though, because I forgot to put any lead Beltroy's aerial. That's a pain. Let's have a look. Is that drying yet? So what I'm going to bring out the hairdryer of doom, which means I will turn the microphone off for a second while I do it. Otherwise, you just hear hairdryer, which is annoying for you guys. So give me 2 seconds. I shall hairdry. I'm back. Welcome, welcome. Oh, we had a super chat. Quanoman, £5. I need to kill that bit of green Aviad Madar still has. Thank you very much, Quanoman. Did you kill it? Oh, there's a tiny sliver of Aviad's health, green health left. If you see it, just where's I don't. The camera's in a different place. Where's my pointy finger? It's just there's a little tiny bit of green left. Thank you very much, though. That goes into the pot for the stream boss battle. Right, let's do some more null oil. More null oil. So you can see the black's a little darker now, or rather the metallic colours are a little darker. I want them to go quite dark. Paul Di Tommaso. So the wife and I are working on organising and painting some rooms. I have my workspace set up shortly thereafter. Can't wait. Cool. Simon Reynolds. Aviad has lived for far too long. Yes, Aviad's been the stream boss for months now. We need to kick him out. Good luck with it, Paul. I should start looking into getting a spray booth, says Paul. Yes, you should. Should always have a spray booth. I dreamed for years of having some sort of spray booth. And then when I got one, I used it for 2 years. And now I'm kind of into brush painting. And I don't really like doing airbrushing anymore because I'm lazy. So it's sat unused for quite a while. After wanting one for many years, now I'm like, don't want to do airbrushing now. I like brush painting now. So we're going to give these a second coating of the null oils. Now you might be wondering... Oh, hello, what was that? That made me jump, that as well. That was the alert. Another one. Oh, sniper rifle is out and the green is gone. Bang, bang. It is now. Yes, he's now down to... What's he down to? 63,470 health. Cool. Thank you again, Quano Man. Well, you did make me jump then with the little sniper sound. Whew. What was I saying? I have no idea what I was saying now. Don't know what I was talking about. I've got no idea. Yeah, so these are going to be quite dark, but I will be doing more over the casings for the weapons. I hope this is all on the screen. It probably isn't. Yes, if you're not familiar with Games Workshop paints, because I know some of my viewers have never, you know, got some new viewers, some may not even know what Warhammer is and Games Workshop and stuff. If you're not familiar with Games Workshop paints, the Citadel paint range, I do strongly recommend them. Of all the paints I've ever used for brush painting, and some people disagree with me, and that's absolutely fine, but for all the paints I've ever used for brush painting, they just work the best for brushing. I've never had such a good experience with any other paints other than, you know, like these. They are just incroyable. Now I might think I'm going a bit dark here, but don't panic your pretty little head, because my technique is to darken down and then build back up. I want to get the dark before I build up the light, so that there's something for the light to contrast with. And it's always a good method. There's lots of different methods for painting stuff, but I always like to darken down. And that's why I love these shades, because they kind of do it all for you. In the old days, you'd have to make your own wash, and it wouldn't probably work very well, and it wouldn't look brilliant. But with shades, I've got the camera in just the wrong place there, haven't I, really? With shades, it just makes it so much easier. It kind of does all the thinking for you, which is, you know, not the best in the world, but it's still cool. I didn't put any on these bits at the back. Duh. I forgot my rear pistons, who were... These won't be quite as dirty, so I'll just get a touch of it on those. Now remember, I'm not doing this to be like, say, museum quality. I'm doing this to be tabletop quality, so I can play it on the tabletop. So I'm not too fussed if these are major works of art. I'm not going to be spending as long on these, you know, these Warhammer Sunday builds for my army as I would if I was doing it as a piece that I was going to sell. If I was doing a piece to sell, then I'd spend, you know, a good week or more painting each vehicle. Spend a long time painting each vehicle. But these are just for me to play on the tabletop. And a lot of the techniques you would use for weathering and all that kind of stuff on a display model don't really work at all on a model you want to play on the tabletop, purely because they're just not durable enough. Like pigments, powders and pigments are beautiful and they're brilliant and they're a great way to do weathering, but they're also a pain in the bum when it comes to them not coming off every 5 seconds. They're not the most durable things. So I'm not going to be using any pigments on this, although it will be a quick and great way of doing fast weathering that looks fantastic. It wouldn't survive tabletop play for a while. After a while, they would just all come off. Even if they were varnished in place and fixed, they'd still come off eventually. So it just wouldn't be worth it. So that's that. Second coat done. Let's have a look. How much do you think it would take to knock Aviad out completely, says Paul Di Tommaso. I have a good idea, but I'm not going to tell you. Put it this way, when Aviad won and became Stream Boss, he won 280 quid budget. The budget he won, which was raised through the super chats and the tips, was 280 quid. So he got 280 quid's worth of Warhammer stuff. If I remember rightly, he ordered a load of kill team stuff. The way it basically works is, if you become the Stream Boss, I mail you and say, brilliant, you're the Stream Boss, here's your budget. What do you want me to order for you? And then you pick what you want and I order it. I think Fox is still muted and hasn't realised. No, can you hear me? You should be able to hear me. How much do you think it would take to overdone that one? Should we? I'm not muted. He was, isn't now. We should have fooled him that he was muted when he wasn't. No, I know, because my light doesn't flash when I'm not muted. So I know I wasn't muted. You can't confuse me that way. He started now, but mine was silent when I started up. I was doing some hair drying for a minute. That's why it was quiet. Spiddy Curator's in. Welcome, Spid. Chris at Gross Model says he said hairdryer, but I think it was having a wee. No, because you could see me picking up the brush every now and then. So it wasn't wee time. I'm gonna have to move the camera, aren't I? Because it's just in just the wrong place. I think let's move the camera a bit. Okay, let's see. How does this work for you? Is this going to be better? Can you see things? You'll be further away. There, I'm going to have to adjust the focus a bit. And it'll be in the way of my head. But you won't necessarily just constantly see my handle. So if I'm painting like this, yeah, you can see painting like. Let me change the focus for you. Changing the focus. Let me get my focus tool. So you're seeing how the sausage is made now. And we'll put it in focus. There we go. Just about. So that should be in focus for you. Should, hopefully. If not, do let me know. It's always quite difficult to know where to put the camera because I want you to be able to see what's going on, but at the same time, if I have it there looking, I can't have it on this side. It's got to be on this side, and then that's my hand when I'm painting because I'm right-handed. So yeah, not ideal. What's chat doing? Pascal Leaverse around 630. Not that much. Not that much, dude. If you're talking about how much it would take to get rid of Aviad as a stream boss. Dad's talking about his big 4-foot long 1/48th U-boat. Dad's making the same U-boat that Ted is on the model stream. Are you going for Fox focus or Ted focus, says Chris. I don't know, hopefully it's Fox focus now. Although I'm at a jaunty angle, which is weird for you guys. It doesn't really matter as long as you can see what I'm doing. Cy Reynolds says, I have my Warlord Titan sitting on my desk currently. Dad, want to paint it for me? It's nearly 2 feet tall and a whole mountain of resin. It's currently defeating me. I would love a Warlord Titan, but it's the resin bit that puts me off. Because I don't have the skills and the patience to do the... Yeah. Right, I'm going to hairdryer the null oil again to dry. So I'm going to turn the microphone off for a second. Back in a moment. Tell you what I will do. Hang on. Just for anybody who comes in and doesn't know why it's gone quiet. Let me find a bit of... I need a bit of paper. Oh, I've got a bit of paper. Oh, I haven't got a bit of paper. Gas. I'll tell you what I'll do. Let me... I got stickers out for today's sticker giveaways and I've got no idea where I just put them. I think I got them out and then put them... Oh, there they are. Right. Let me put... back in at moment. There you go. So just in case anybody comes in the stream now and doesn't know why I'm not talking, I'm just going to do some hair drying. Back in a second. Not a we. See, proof, there's the hairdryer, you see. And I'm returned. There you go. Right. And the we. Oh, there goes my hairdryer. Where's it gone? There it is. I'll probably need to do that again, so I'll put it on this little hanger. What did I miss? They're all doing maths to work out how much it would cost to take somebody out of Stream Boss. Definitely weird this time now. 25 minutes and my Domino's pizza should be here, says Paul Di Tommaso. Oh, pizza. Yes. Damn it, Paul. I've been considering Domino's all day. Now I have no choice, says Cy Reynolds. Haha, fail. Pan pizza with pepperoni, green olives and extra cheese, says Paul. Where's the pineapple? Where's the pineapple? Did you? No olives, they're basically veg. You should always have olives. Olives are awesome. I didn't go to the loo, gross model, because he asked me if I washed my hands. I was doing the... You can see with the dryness of the... Shut up. Right, coffee. Nom. I go for a wee before the show. So I don't normally need to go for a wee during the show. However, that's not guaranteed. It's very not guaranteed at all. Now, let's have a think. The trick now is... Do I want to put any casings on these weapons, or do I want to leave them as just... bare metal? I don't know. I mean, on the big bolters I want to do casings, but on these las guns on the side, I'm tempted to leave them as just bare metal, in the same way that, say, a mounted machine gun on a tank would just be, you know, it wouldn't all be painted. You go and look at a tank and it's got like a 50 cal on the top. It's not going to be all beautifully painted up with casing around. It's going to be just bare metal or gun metal. So I think what I'll do is... Still not dried. The normal still not dried down there yet. Door. What I might do is... I might go crazy and give it another coat of null. I know. Maybe. Because I'm going to bring back the shine afterwards. I'm going to go back and do metallic colours on top again. I'm not just going to have 3 coats of normal and that'll be it. Because there's other things I want to do. So I'm going to... I think I'm going to try 3 coats of null and see if it goes. Because I can always dry brush the metallic colour back if I need to. This is just to get the darkness in there. So we're going to just on the guns. We're going to go in with some more null and just see what happens. Let's experiment. It's all about just having fun. Yeah, so my thinking is, I mean, I might paint up the little bits around the muzzle of these las guns just because I may as well. But for like the ball section where it goes into the hull and the barrel and the housing around the front, I might just leave that as bare metal. Like I say, because if you look at a gun on a tank, machine gun or something, it's not all painted up. They're just gun coloured. So, and of course it's not a real world tank, so I'm not actually going for realism here. That would be crazy stupid. But let's get some extra null on this missile rack. I do like to go dark before I go light though. It is quite good fun. Does make for some good times. That's that bit. And I'll do the gun on here. Now his little handgun, his little mini bolt pistol, I'll leave that with 2 coats of null, because that can be quite light. How am I doing? Yeah, that's alright, you can see, cool. So I'll go in and give that some schmade. That's not a real word, schmade. I'm schmading it, that's not right. I'm making up words again, Mum. It's near 8. Put some shade. Oh, I forgot the bolter on the hull, didn't I? Get some more shade on there. But just on the barrel, not on that. No, we'll do it on that bit as well. There you go. Put that there, and we'll do the bolter on the front. Heavy bolter. Now, of course, you do know what this means. This means more hairdryer action in a minute. Okay, so we'll see how they come out. Because I've got a plan. I know, me with a plan, it's ridiculous, isn't it? Yes, that's what I was talking about before I got distracted earlier. You might be wondering why I'm not using a gloss shade to maintain the shiny look, the potential shiny metal look. There's a very good reason. Once I've got most of the painting done on this, I'm going to obviously matte varnish it. Because I'm going to play it on the tabletop, I need to matte varnish it to protect the paint and everything else. So there's no point me going and using all the nice gloss varnishes and gloss shades and things like that to make the shiny metallics and then matte varnish the whole thing. What I need to do is make sure that anything that needs to be shiny is rendered shiny after the matte varnish goes on. So what I'm basically going to do is do as much painting as I can and, you know, decals and stuff, get everything on there, get it matte varnished, and then I can take care of anything that needs to be shiny. So for example, with the gold trim on the Aquili, what I'll do is I'll paint it gold, do the shade, and leave it at that. Once it's matte varnished, I'll go in with the gold colour and some, some Stormhouse silver or something like that to bring back the shiny edges. The guns, we'll get them shaded, we'll get some colour on there, then we'll matte varnish everything, and then when that's done, after that's done, we'll go back in with some metallic highlights to get the shiny edges or some graphite or something like that. So we'll do all the shiny extras once everything has been painted and is matte varnished and decals are on, stuff like that. It's kind of, you've got to be tactical about these things. It's very simple. There's nothing wrong with just painting everything and matte varnishing and that's it. You can play it on the tabletop. But there's a little bit of me, the proper model maker, that still wants to make things look reasonably convincing and slightly realistic. So I'm going to do that. So what hopefully you'll have at the end is a matte model. Everything's matte, nothing shiny, but then you'll have some shine on the metallic parts, just catching the edges. You'll have maybe some shine on this big searchlight here. So I'll plan that. It slows things down and it gets a bit fiddly, but it works. So let's have a look, see what chat's doing. Scale Model Muse is in, sneaks in and sits down with coffee. Morning all, welcome Muse. Fraser Davis, welcome Fraser, says I'm weak but not for food. I dropped 80 quid on Shadow Spear yesterday. Good girl. You're not weak, that's correct. That is correct. Looks like it's going to take a while to paint all those Chaos dudes though. We won't talk about how much I spent yesterday, says Muse, and I say that now talking about it, so you're screwed now, you've got to. Luckily I'm splitting it with the... Cy Reynolds says, luckily I'm splitting it with someone from the Boom Hut, so only keeping what I actually want from it. Cy Reynolds. But I did drop silly money on a stabilised wood custom vape last week, but by God it's pretty. Well, that's what I'm doing with the Warhammer Conquest, because George, my patron George, is very kindly helping to fund that. So basically with Warhammer Conquest, what we'll do at the end is we're going to split that. I don't know whether he wants the Chaos dudes or the Space Marine dudes yet, but we'll split that at the end. Because he's helping out with that. So thank you very much, George. Cy Reynolds, I got lucky and found someone that wanted the Chaos. Says Cy Reynolds. My Warhammer shop had its birthday celebration yesterday, says Muse. Oh, it's always a bad thing that, because you go in and get loads of free stuff and that makes you spend more money. Candygram for Mongo's in. Welcome, Candygram. He says, I'm a happy guy. I acquired a giant bottle of Marmite this week. Oh, Marmite. Yes, indeed, Marmite. Paul Di Tommaso asks if anyone has tried their hand at building one of the Metal Earth metal kits. I know a few people that have. Adam from the Treehouse. Chris has done one, I think, haven't you, Chris? You've done a couple of them. Chris at Gross Models. I haven't done any because it's not my kind of thing really, but they look quite mint. They look quite cool. I may be up your way soon visiting Grey Hall, says Fraser Davis. Ooh, Grey Hall is actually one of the 2 people that I know that frequent my local Warhammer store. So when I eventually go and play my first game of Warhammer, obviously I'll go and get taught by Chris, my manager at my store, but the only place I have to play Warhammer will be my local Warhammer store, so probably the only person I'm ever going to play with is Grey Hall. So so that'll probably be it. So there you go. So yeah, that'd be cool. We'll have to meet up. Maybe we'll have to meet up in the Warhammer store or something. Candy Grant from Mongo. It's almost impossible to find here locally anymore, so I ordered some online. Best purchase ever. That's the Marmite. I was going to spend it anyway, Foxy, so I got free stuff too, says Muse. You never have to explain spending money, Muse. If you spend money on your modelly stuff, it's always perfectly valid. There's no reason to have to explain why you spent money on plastic crack. You don't have to explain it. Earl D, afternoon model folks. Welcome, Earl. I did Metal Earth Star Destroyer. Chris has done a few, and Spid says he did an Aluminium Falcon. Snowman HFC wants to get Shadow Spear. Oh yeah. Paul D. Tomaso is attempting to assemble a Metal Earth Megatron kit. Fraser Davies says, yes, I went to uni with him. That's Grey Hall. We discuss Spec Marines a lot. Cool. Yeah, he's done some. If you follow Grey Hall on the Instagrams, he's done some beautiful work. Painted some fantastic Space Marines. And the thing is, he's been playing now for, I think, about a year or 2. About the time I started getting into it. But I've not had a chance to actually play a game yet. So by the time we get there, he'll know everything. And I'll be like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm rolling dice. What happens now? He's dead. Oh. So, yeah. Dude, you have no clue how much I spend, says Muse. I can imagine. Now you've said that. Cy Reynolds, my vape was 380 quid. I mean, Riley. Just for the mod, no tank or anything the missus does not know. Oh, have I just read that out on the internet? Sorry. Well over $500, so yeah. I've spent a lot of money here and there. There was one time I spent 300 quid on a replica 10th Doctor greatcoat. So I know about spending money on dumb stuff. Don't you think I don't? I know all about that. Right, so I'm going to do a quick blast off the hairdryers. Yeah, one year I thought I need that 10. I saw a replica of the 10 coat, so I thought I'm going to buy that. Bang, there you go, mine. Right, I'm going to turn the microphone off while I do a bit more hair drying. Back in a second. And we am returned. Now, let's have a look. So, we now have our weapons are a bit darker. Looking much darker and much more like darker metal. But I do indeed want to get that ever so slight blued look. Now, it's not going to be quite properly blued steel, because I've never figured out a good way to do that. But, and you know, you could say we'll just use gunmetal paints. Gunmetal doesn't really always work. But there is a technique I'm going to use now, and I shall show you. Let's have a quick look at chat, though. Beyond Hope, afternoon all, flying visit today. Welcome, Beyond. It's been a while. It needs to stop raining and get warm. Grrr, says Muse. Yes. A ghost is trying to run off with you. Be right back now, it says Chrono Man. Yeah, that's how you know I'm using the hairdryer and not gone for a week, because you can see the note doing that across the desk. I don't even want to think how much I've spent on Israeli Defence Force kit, says Scott Sutherland. Every time Scott posts up a picture of his work in progress, it's some new Israeli Defence Force tank or bulldozer or something. You have a thing for Israeli Defence Force, Scott. I don't know where this comes from. Ghost Lyle's in, says pineapple. Pineapple. Beyond Hope says, oh, yes, not been well recently, even missed 3 of Neri's streams. Oh, I'm sorry you've not been well, Beyond Hope. I hope you're feeling better. Cy Reynolds says, I should pick you up the next time I'm travelling to Warhammer World model making guru. We should have a game of 40k in the main hall. And DW, she isn't home today. Well, okay, yeah, she won't. Yeah, his missus isn't in, so yeah, we can say anything we want. Yes, good job. It's not permanently stored on the internet for playback at any time. Oh, wait. Yeah, yes. Yes, I will go to Warhammer World one day. Let's have a look. 21 days till Muse's local model show. Cool. Spidder's missed a few shows, he says, due to a bit of a holiday in Germany and catching Chris's and Germ. Paul Di Tommaso has a model show in Ontario, Canada, in about 14 days. But, of course, with Canada being mentioned... Flag always comes out when Canada turns up. Oh, we got some more maple syrup. We ran out. Yeah, so we got some more. It's quite nice. Not as nice as the stuff we were sent, but it's nice. Let's have a look. Nim has a month to get both the Falcon done and Hazaku. Because IDF stuff is funky and different, Fox. There is that. I'll give you that. It's got a kind of slight futuristic look to it. Nim Cinderin is going nuts from being behind. There's so many jokes in that statement. I'm surprised Paul hasn't jumped on that already. Right, swig of coffee, and then what we're going to do, we're going to make a glaze. And we're going to glaze these weaponages to give them a blue tinge. Glaze time. Come on, be happy. It's Glaze MacGuffin Day. Favourite cartoon series ever. Right, so we're going to make Anne glaze to do a sort of weapon bluing effect. Now, it's not going to be the best weapon bluing effect in the world. I'm going to zoom in a little bit for you. Zooming, rawhide. Right, so we're going to zoom in a little bit. So, we've got these weapons now. We've got lead belcher with 3 coats of the Nuln oil. Do it on maybe do it on this. It might be a bit easier to see. So we've got maybe 3 coats of the Nuln oil. We want to give it a blue twinge. Dead simple. Well, it's hopefully very simple. All you need is some Labia Mermaids, and we need a suitable blue colour. So what we can do is we can try, first of all, we're going to use some Gulliman Blue, which in of itself is already a glaze, but I don't want to use it neat. Because I've dropped it. That's why I don't want to use it neat. I don't want to use it neat because it is quite a... My chair is sticking on something. Hang on. Oh, there's a cable in the way. Apologies. As you can see, it's quite a bold blue colour. So I don't want to put that straight on because that'll just make it look bright blue. So what I'm going to do, there's no we, it's me doing it. What I'm going to try is we're going to make a glaze. Now, what William Rayborn, well, hello everyone, welcome William. If you don't know what a glaze is basically a thinned paint, but it's not a wash. A glaze is not, well, it's not really a thinned paint, it's a diluted paint. And you would typically use a glaze if you wanted to blend 2 colours together. If you look in terms of like making pottery and painting ceramics, a glaze is a very thin transparent layer of paint. Or when you do oil paintings, a glaze is a very transparent layer of paint. If you paint, a green colour and then you glaze blue over it, you get green because no, that's not right. If you do a red colour, sorry, and glaze blue over it, you get like a green because you can see through the blue. So a glaze is a transparent layer of paint. and you can use it to build up colours. So what we're going to do is I'm going to get my Mixy Colours brush. I'm going to get some Lamy Medium, some Labia Mermaids. How good is the Lamy Medium with non-Citadel paints, or should I stick with Winsor & Newton mediums for Vallejo and MIG Ammo acrylics? Ask Beyond Hope. It's absolutely fine with any paints, but the Vallejo and the Winsor & Newton glazes, mediums, and the Vallejo are also very good. Now you might be wondering, so if you've got the Winsor & Newton one, stick with them because it's just as good. It's an acrylic medium, it's very similar stuff. The only thing that makes this stuff special is it smells like applesauce. It really does smell like applesauce, and I love it. A Scale Model Muse says, don't change if it's working for you. Yeah, if it works for you, it's fine. Right, so, yeah, if you're wondering why I'm doing this with this, which is a medium and not just water, I've explained this before, but I'll explain it again. Whenever you thin a paint is basically pigment in an acrylic set of acrylic binders. It's acrylic binders, pigment, and water, if it's a water-based paint. The binders just help the paint have certain surface tension properties and help the paint settle properly and self-level, and the pigment spread out evenly. When you thin a paint with water, it breaks down those acrylic binders, and the way the paint behaves changes, because the acrylic binders can no longer bind. You're breaking down. It's like imagine like Chinese, if you're in the UK, imagine Chinese, say, chicken and sweet corn soup. It's very gloopy and gelatinous, but if you put water in, it breaks it down. It becomes like just water. It breaks down the gloopiness. It's the same kind of thing. It breaks down the acrylic binders, and it changes the way it behaves. The paint will settle differently. If you thin it with water and paint, if you make a wash out of paint and water, it will settle differently in recesses. It will get patchy effects where the water evaporates away and leaves pigment behind. So it has its place. But if you want the paint to behave the same as it did before, but you just want it to be less bold or more transparent, you want to use an acrylic glaze medium. And that's what Lamy medium is. Vallejo do them, and as you saw in that comment, Winsor & Newton do them. They're just basically acrylic paint, or in this case, it's more like a shade, without any pigment. So instead of thinning it, if I add water, water's a solvent. If I add water to this, I thin it, and it changes the way it behaves. If I add a glaze, or a glaze medium, then it just increases the amount of acrylic medium to the amount of pigment. So instead, I'm not actually thinning it, I'm diluting it. And that's a big difference. Because if you dilute it rather than thin it, then it still behaves the same way as it did before. It's just not quite as opaque. So, what we're going to do, we're going to get 1, 2, 3, 4. Now this isn't the cleanest lamp. I'm going to get 5. This is not the cleanest lamp. It's got some contamination in it from other paints, but that's fine. I'm not looking to get a nice clear blue colour. We're going to get a brushful of the Guilliman blue. I know it's Guilliman. Generous brushful. I'm going to mix that in. Now it's still pretty potent, but it's fine. We'll see how that comes out. So I'm going to rinse that off. So it still looks pretty potent, but it's not quite as bold and strong as it would be where I just thin it, using it neat. So we're going to get some of this. Quite simply, we're going to brush that on and see what it comes out like. Now, because it's going over a dark colour already, it's going over the non-oil washed silver colour, it's not going to come out bright blue like it does on that piece of white palette pad. It's not going to come out anywhere near that. But it's going to have a slight blue tint. It's going to cool this silver down ever so slightly, and it's going to give it a slight gunmetal-y tint. Hopefully. This is the plan anyway. I'm going to put it on his bolt pistol as well. Now I could just have used the Guilliman blue neat, but that's going to be more, even though it's a glaze and it's kind of slightly transparent anyway, it would still have been opaque to a certain degree, and it would still therefore make it would still kind of look just like a bright blue colour painted over a silver. Doing it this way as a glaze, I can build it up slowly. I'm not committed straight away. So what I can do is I can do my glaze layer on each gun, and then if I think it's not quite blue enough, I can do another layer. And that's the beauty of glazes. the idea is that you can build up a colour slowly. And that's why glazes are good for doing colour transition. If I want to fade from, say, blue to green, or red, or whatever two colours, what I can do is I can paint one colour, and then I can glaze over with the other colour, and build it up slowly, painting in smaller areas, until eventually I've painted enough of the glazed colour that it's now opaque. It's hard to explain. I will demonstrate that to you one day, don't worry, I'll do it in a video. There's lots of things I will eventually demonstrate in videos. Like how to paint plasma weapons, how I paint plasma weapons. Okay, so that's the glaze on there. So we're going to leave that to dry for a moment. Now the Lamian medium as well, it's also really helpful, or any acrylic glaze medium that's matte is also really useful if you just want to matte a surface down. If you don't need to, say, use matte varnish necessarily, but you want to matte a surface down, it technically just acts, it's just a matte paint without any pigment, so it just kind of mattes down. Now I'm going to give this a quick blast to the hairdryer, but I'm not going to put them to the microphone off because it won't take me very long, so I'm just going to leave the microphone on, so give me 2 seconds. I'll just give this a quick blast. La 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 la. Hair drying. Doba 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 doba. Right, there we go. So I'll zoom in a bit more so you can see better. So I don't know if you'll be able to tell, but it now looks a little... I've missed a bit, hang on. Oh, you little bugger. So it's just got a bit of a shift towards the blue on it. Not much, a tiny amount. But what I can do now is I can go in with a second coat of the glaze, which is still, you know, usable on my palette pad. Go in with a second coat. And this will blue it even more. And it's also doing a slight darkening effect at the same time. But this is going to blue it a little bit more and darken it a bit more. Man, you have to be careful with this Lamian medium because it's a paint. You can't go on too thickly with it. It does build up and hide detail quite easily. So go careful with it. Don't just blep it on willy-nilly, as it were. Willy-nilly. Okay. So we'll let that dry for a moment. But it does dry very quick. It dries quicker than a shade because the shade's not just a coloured paint, whereas this stuff is just basically a normal matte paint. It does dry pretty quick. And where it pools in little corners, it does give it a shade effect, so you get a little blue sort of shadow effect. It's not the best way of doing blue steel, but it's just our way of doing blue steel. Okay, at least a very simple way, quick and easy way, let's say, of doing blued steel effect. Or a quick and simple way of just tinting a metal colour a little bit to give it more than just a shaded silver effect. So there we go. So we're going to give those a second to dry. So that's that. Let's see how this is doing. So I can blow on this and it actually dries quite fast. Apologies if none of that was on camera. So I shall give this another little blast with the hairdryer. Again, it won't take me a second, so I'm just going to leave the microphone on. Back in a second. Right, swig of coffee. Oh. Get the litre of coffee out my moustache. There we go. And so we now have, it's a very subtle effect. It's very, very subtle. You wouldn't, the only way you'd know it was to tell the difference is if you saw what the lead belcher looked like before, which is basically, that's the lead belcher before. And it doesn't really come out on camera here because it's a bit rubbish, but that was the lead belcher before. There, maybe you can see there. And that's the slightly blued lead belcher now. Now, if you were to, say, just do 1 or 2 coats of normal before you put the blue on there, it will give you a more blue effect. Obviously, it'll look a bit more bold, but I wanted this to look kind of dark. And there's still stuff to do on this. I've got to do some dry brushing and so on. But you can just see it does give it a slight blue effect. Now, what I did forget to do, I forgot to put it on the 2 bolters, didn't I? That's what we're going to do. On this bolter here, go with a coat, because I forgot to do that. Dope. And I forgot to do it on the big fat bolter on the front here. So we'll just do a quick glaze coat on that. Like I say, I could just use the Gulliman Blue Neat, and there'd be nothing wrong with that. It just would look very, very blue then, which might be an effect you want to go for. But you can do that with any of the Games Workshop glazes. You can do it with any of the Games Workshop paints. There's nothing stopping you making your own glaze out of some Lamian medium and whatever colour you want to make a glaze out of. So that's looking pretty spanky there. I think you'll agree that's looking a bit better. I say once I've let that dry fully, and I've got some other bits and bobs painted, when it comes to doing the final matte varnish, and when that's been done, we can then go ahead and I can start doing some little highlights on there, metallic highlights, to bring back the shine, because that's matte as anything now. That's just completely matte, but that's fine right now. It doesn't matter. So let me zoom the camera back out again. There we go. So that's those bits done. I think next we need to do an stripe. I think we are going to need an stripe of some sort. And I think what I shall do is I shall put a stripe on the front. Oh, actually, no, I can't. There's other things I can do first. I was going to do. I totally forgot all the things I was going to actually do. So there you go. Right, we're going to paint the missile. We need to get that base coat on that. So I'll get my wet palette out. First thing I'm going to do is just change my water because it's all blue. Back in a second, one moment. Quick look at chat. Cy Reynolds says to Scott, I'll be getting the new Abbey model, Scott. Someone from the Boomworks commissioned me to paint him after seeing my squigs. Oh, the Abaddon model. Cool. I'll be posting regular work in progress on the Boomworks. Cool. Awesome. Look forward to seeing that, Cy. James Chapman's in. Hey, Fox. Welcome, James. Pink Stripe, says Paul at Team Inept. No. I'd like to see a painting series of The Batman Who Laughs by Team Inept. Yeah. Right. We are going to... I'm loath to paint this missile, but I'm going to. I shall go first with a base coat of Celestra Grey, just because I need to block the colour in. And if I go straight in with the white colour, it's going to look like ass. Because white over anything is ass. Biblical ass. So got a little wet palette ready. Whenever you're painting anything white, you want to start with a neutral base colour first. If you're using Citadel paints, then the base colours are good because they're really opaque and they'll cover up nicely. White is a very transparent colour. If you paint anything with white, just straight off white, it'll just be transparent and take 35 coats and you'll be in a living hell. I don't recommend it. So we need a basing brush. We need a basing brush. That will do. That's a base brush. And we want a regiment, I think, which is a bit bigger. We'll start off with the base brush. Work our way up. I need somewhere to put my little plastic tubes. So, wet palette. The world's tiniest amount of water on my wet palette. There is a video. If you don't know what wet palette is, by the way, there is a video on my channel. If you go into the playlist on my channel, there's a playlist called How To, and there's a video in there how to make a wet palette and what a wet palette is and what you need one for, why you want one. So go and watch that. Yeah, if you're using a wet palette, the trick is you want the wet palette to be moist, not dripping wet, but moist, just moist. Because it's there to hydrate the paint, not thin the paint, hydrate the paint. It will by default thin the paint enough to be workable anyway. But the whole point is you want to be hydrating the paint to keep it workable. So you don't really need to add a lot of paint to the paint on the wet palette. It should be workable as it is, but the tiniest amount can't do any harm. Can I get that brush under there? Just. This will take a couple of coats, but trust me, if I just painted straight off white, I'd need like 35 coats of white and I'd be pulling my hair out by the end of it. It would not be a happy day. So we're just going to get this first coat on. You noticed how I go quiet when I'm concentrating. Now I can't get to all of that. Or can I? Maybe I can. Maybe. Okay, so that's a very rough base coat. Give it a quick blast with the old hairdryer rings, just very, very quickly. Okay. Whenever you're painting with water-based acrylics, you don't want to paint over paint that's still not at least touch dry, because all it'll do is it'll make a mess. As your brush moves over the thing you're painting, it'll just pull the paint up as it goes along and it'll just be an almighty mess. So there's no harm at all with water-based acrylics. If you want to give it a quick blast of the hairdryer just to flash it off so it's over paintable again, that's absolutely fine. Don't recommend it with any other kind of paints, but water-based acrylics, it's absolutely fine, because all you're doing is evaporating the water away, basically. So I'll just get this based. Now, do you remember how I said in a couple of streams ago, might have been last time, if you're learning to brush paint, one of the tricks to learn is when to use a brush that's bigger than you think you need. And now is one of those times. I'm using a base brush, which is not small, to paint a tiny detail, as in this missile. But the reason I can is because I know how the brush works. I know how to control the shape of it. And you can get some nice straight edges with it. I know you can't see this right now because I'm twisting it around, but you can get some beautiful straight edges with it. If you use it like a spatula. Use the edge of the brush to your advantage. But your instinct here will be to use a small brush because you want to get a precise edge around the missile rack. But that's where you'd be mistaken. Because I want to use a big brush now so I can minimise brush strokes and make this look like a missile, not like something heavily painted. So I've got it thinned a little bit just so I can keep the brush strokes at bay. Just carefully going over and building this up. Make sure I get this bit under here. I'm trying to use slow, long brush strokes rather than stabbing at it too much. Okay, now I've missed a little bit under there. Okay, that's that base coming on. Now there are some bits I've missed. I've missed under that. I can't get under that fin here, but to be perfectly honest, and I said this before in the last episode as well, use the rule of if I can't see it close up, then nobody's going to see it on the tabletop. There's nothing at all wrong with if you can't see it, don't worry about painting it. That's fine. There's no point expending all the energy painting a little tiny detail that nobody's actually been able to see anyway. And remember, when people see this, it'll be on a tabletop. You know, they'll see it like you're seeing it now, like from that distance, or even smaller. So if I showed you that, can you see under that fin on the missile? No. So I'm going to give it a quick blast to the hairdryer. And I'm actually thinking I quite like this Celestra Grey. It's actually not too bad as the colour for the missile, but I don't know. We'll see. So again, I'm just going to do one more coat. It's a very thin coat this time, just to make sure it's a solid, not streaky colour. Because I might leave this as the colour of the missile. I'm not sure yet. Go that way. But Celestra Grey is a brilliant colour if you want to paint white. Start with Celestra Grey. If you want just a normal neutral white, start with Celestra Grey as a base colour. Just to block out the colour area. And then white should go over it like a dream. Like a dream! Quite that bit under there, I just can't get the brush at that anyway, so there's no point worrying about that bit that nobody can see. Also, if you're doing yellows also need a good base colour, so Celestra Grey again is a good colour for yellows. Another good base colour for whites is any kind of tan colour. I mean, neutral colours like very light greys, tan colours like Zandri Dust or something. They might give you a slightly more warm white when you finish, but they still work nicely as a base colour. Right, so that's there. Oh, ye of little faith, you could dry brush the fins lightly with Ulthuan so it isn't so flat, says Cy Reynolds. No, I don't mean I'm going to leave it just like that. I don't mean I'm going to leave it just this colour. I mean I might not go ahead and do a white, because I was just going to overpaint this with white, but I quite like that grey colour. So what I might do... Well, I'm going to have to shade it anyway, aren't I? So, yeah. Okay, well, let's... I just mean I might not paint over it white, if that makes sense. I don't know, let's have a think. What do I want to do with it? I quite like that off-white colour. If I was going to shade that, what would I shade it with? I would shade it with... something. I would shade it with a shade that I haven't got here right now. Let me grab a shade, hang on. Let me go in. Let's see what the good doctor has in his magic bag. He has... Null, don't want null, that's all I don't need. Darn it. Where's my blue shades? Oh well. Agraxur shade it is then. Never mind. What we're going to do, I'm going to give that a quick... I might keep it this colour, but first of all I'm going to shade it. Oh, actually, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to shade it, but I'm going to make a glaze from the shade. Glazing, 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 rawhide, to do more glaze goodness. So I've got a big pile of brushes over. I'm rubbish at keeping brushes organised. I really am. So, same as before, we're going to take some Labia Mermaids. 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is just basically a way to tone down an existing shade. I don't want it to be quite as stark and bold. Just off one brush of the, or just less than one brush of Agrax Earthshade. I don't want it to be quite so stark and bold, but I still want it to behave like a shade, run into the recesses and so on. So that's why I wanted to thin it with that. Again, I wouldn't thin it with water because that will completely change the way it works. That was the shade brush anyway. Oh, okay. Where's my other shade brush? Oh, I need to find a better way of organising these brushes. Oh, there it is. There we go. That's my stirry brush. Put that there. So what I'm going to do now is, I just want this to, really this is more of a recess shade, but I can't be bothered being delicate with it. So we're going to go in and coat this first. It just means that it won't make the whole thing go quite so horribly brown. If I did this with just Agrax Earthshade, it would just make the whole thing look brown and dirty, but I don't really want that quite so much. I want it more as a tint, but to go into the recesses and blend them together a bit. And it will go into the recesses, of course. I want it to tint the grey a little bit, but not too much. So that's on there. You know what's happening next. Hairdryer time. 1 second. Hairdryer. There you go. Nicely, nicely. Do let me know, by the way, if the hairdryer sound is very annoying, because if it is, I'll just make sure to turn the microphone off next time. What's that doing? Quick look at chat. Snowman NFC, I'm looking for advice on creating a front flag or skirt on my dreadnought. Not sure what you mean by a front flag. Do you mean literally a skirt, like a skirt round the leg skirt? Like a Roman skirt? Like a Roman soldier's sort of skirty thing? Moist, says Dad, yes. I'm thinking that dark metal-y colour would look good on the dark parts of the Bandai Scout Troopers speeder bike. Might do. Oh, you mean this dark metal-y colour? Yes, or what you could do, for the dark parts, what I've found is multiple coats of null oil. Without the bluing, but yeah, just more like if I do, when I paint the casings on, say, a Space Marine is holding a bolter, the casing on it's supposed to be black, but I'd rather do a few coats, 4 or 5 or 6 coats of null oil, so it paints it black, but around the edges it's still got a metallic sheen to it because it's thin around the edges. Speedy Creator says, team say no to wet palette and paint off the mat. Yeah, Paul at Glue to the Sprue / Team Inept paints straight from the, he puts his paint, uses his cutting mat as a palette. Mark A. Hello, I modelled and printed Imperial Fist. Can you tell me how good it is? I don't know what you mean, dude. Can you explain the question a bit? Oh, printed Imperial Fist. I don't. I'm still confused. I'm still on my... Quanoman says, I'm still only... I can't see this the screen. Quanoman says, I'm still only about 3 seconds of experience to... Hang on. Your sentence is a bit of a train wreck there, Quanoman. Sentence has got 3 seconds of experience. We'll have to go back over the videos of metally paints to how-tos before I get into them. But I'm loving how much stuff from Warhammer can be Adapted to other models for more awesomes and the finishes. Yep. I love these paints. I love these paints, absolutely. Mark says, yes, 3D print. I'm Russian. I write with a translator. Ah, okay. Okay. Speedy Kuwait, Imperial Fist is a faction of Space Marines. I don't know if that's what he means, though. Imperial Fists are just a faction of Space Marines. Yes, like the Roman, says Snowman. If you want to make a skirt... Okay, so he wants to make a skirt on a dreadnought. Or a flag. It depends on the scale, doesn't it, I suppose? Some people use like actual modelling clay to do it. I find that too thick. I'm thinking just very, very thin. You can make good tarpaulins and things out of very, very fine paper and like onion skin paper, or maybe not onion skin paper, but very, very fine paper and PVA, thin down PVA glue to get folded effects. I would say to both you and to both Mark A, who've got questions that I don't really know the answer to, pop along to the Model Makers Boom Hut. If somebody can put the address in the chat for me, it's the group I run, the Model Making Group. There's about 3,500 people in there. If you've got any specific questions, or maybe I don't know the answer, or I don't answer your question in here, go and put it in the Model Makers Boom Hut. It's facebook.com/groups/Model Boom Hut. And if you put your question up there, someone for sure will have the answer for you. Right, so I'll put some shade on there. What I want to do now is go back in with the Celestra Grey again. I want to go in with the Ulthuan Grey, which is a much lighter grey colour. But for this, we're going to dry brush. Good old-fashioned dry brushings. If I can find my tissue. I'm just going to dry brush a light colour on here. This is a layer paint, so it's quite good for dry brushing because it's a bit more translucent, transparent than a base paint. What I want to do here is not just hit the edges for the dry brush, but like I've shown you before, using little circles, actually hit the middle of panels to try and build up the highlight. So it's not just hitting the edges. I hope you can see this. I'm probably going to paint that nose section a different colour anyway, because I want to keep a bit of the shading going on. So I'm going to focus it towards the middle of things and try and keep a bit of the shading around the big panel lines, which are a bit obvious, but there you go. You can't really complain too much. Get a bit more. It probably won't come out on camera, I'll be honest. And what we've done, when we've finished all this and everything's been matte varnished and everything else, I can go over this with a gloss varnish just to give it a slight shine. Nearly said that wrong then. Because if you think about it, although the tank might be battered and horrible, ordnance like missiles and things, they're not going to be battered because they're going to be single use. So they're still going to be shiny and brand new because they're going to be only on the vehicle for as long as they're not used. So it might look a bit grainy and gribbly now, but once it's got a gloss varnish over the top of it at the very end of the project, it should look pretty nice. So there we go, little circular motions. It's not as easy to do this as it is on, say, a piece of the armour panel of the vehicle or something like that, but you get the same effect. Okay, and then what I can do, clean that off. Just use the wrong tissue, but never mind. Put that to one side. And then what I can do now is get another little dry brushy brush, if I can find one. And got something, going with something like White Scar, which is a full-on white colour. And do more dry brushing, But this, now white is not the best colour to dry brush with because it's often quite powdery and bitty. But this I can use to pick up the edges. I'm not a big fan of edge highlighting, but for something like this it's quite a good effect. It's fine. What I can do is just put a very slight highlight on top of the missile as well. Now it's a bit rough and ready, it's a bit grainy on there. But it's not, I say it's not too bad because we are going to put a gloss on there later on, and I'm going to put some decals on it as well. So that's looking a bit better. Doodle-doodle-doo-doo. So that's that. Now for the thruster on the back, we shall go in with good old-fashioned lead belt. Where's it gone? Start off with good old-fashioned lead belcher. Right, I need to find my actual getting paint out of the pot brush. That's that one. So a little bit of lead belcher on the old wet palletings. Not much, I don't need a lot. I'm just doing this one thruster nozzle on the missile. And we want with the layer brush, there we go. Tiny amount of water, just the tiniest amount. It doesn't need thinning that much. We're going to get some paint on this thruster on the back. Just a base colour of the lead belcher to start with. May as well, why not? Again, using the technique I've explained to you before, where you use the brush like a little spatula. Use the way the brush spreads out and its flat edge to create the straight edge. So you're not stabbity, you're not painting in a stabbity manner. You're painting in slow, considered movements and using the natural edge of the brush to get the straight line. There we go. A little bit more on the inside. Okay, so that's that. Done there. Give that a minute to dry and then we'll do a second coat maybe. And like I say, once everything's matte varnished, because again, this will just look have no shine to it at all once it's matte varnished. When that's been matte varnished and everything's been done, we can go in and put some real shine on that with some either C1 metallizer powder or graphite, just to give it a real, because this will be an unused missile, it will be clean. It wouldn't be weathered and beaten too much. So that's there. I think we should give it a nice warhead colour. We shall give it a nice... what colour should we make it? Give it a nice yellow warhead, I think. Yellow. They call me Mellow Yellow. They don't really call me Mellow Yellow. Now I'm going to be painting yellow here, and yellow is an absolute pig to paint. So if you're painting yellow colour, start off with Aviad Sunset. It's a fantastic base yellow colour to use. Because it's nice and... what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think of the word. It's nice and opaque. Also doesn't need much thinning, so you can use it straight from the wet palette because it gets enough moisture from the wet palette. So here we're going to go over with this first of all, using a base brush. It's a lovely mustardy colour, but it is a fantastic base for anything you want to paint yellow or something else. Don't paint. I mean, I know I will be painting yellow over white, but most yellow paints, especially layer paints, sorry, knocking the camera, are very transparent and they're a pig to paint or to get coverage with. So if you can start with something that's already yellowish or tan coloured or brown even before you put your yellow on, then even better. And this stuff is obviously a base colour, so it's quite opaque and it's yellow. So I could paint the yellow straight over the white when whatever yellow colour I decide to paint it, but this just means I can get less yellow paint when I paint it in a minute. It's all about using as little as possible. So we'll just get that in there. They call me Mellow Yellow. They don't really. I don't know why that's in my head. Okay, so that's on there. Base coat on. Which is a nice colour by itself. Give me a quick blast of the hairdryer. 1 second, folks. Okay. And now, the bit where you might hear me swear. Let's go for a brighter yellow colour. I may have to go into a tin and get a paint, because I haven't got one here. Let me grab one now. I don't have a paint right to hand. Let's see what we've got. We have nothing in there. Okay. What's in this one? Aha. We have Uriel Yellow, my most hated Games Workshop colour. I hate Uriel Yellow. I hate it. I hate it with a vengeance. I hate it with every fibre of my being. I just hate everything about it. It's not my favourite colour at all, Uriel Yellow. Hate it, hate it, hate it, hate it. Because it's so transparent. It's an absolute pig to get any coverage with it. But it is a wonderfully bright, if you do get it to work. I tried doing a Space Wolf, and I tried painting Uriel Yellow over Fenrisian Grey. It took like a billion coats. I was not a happy bunny. I gave up the will to live. Yeah. So it's not my favourite colour. But again, it's thin enough that it gets enough moisture from the wet palette. So let's see how this comes out, shall we? Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Might take a couple of coats. Let's see. Again, you could use a small brush here because you want to be delicate with it, but again, it's all about minimising brush strokes. And a small brush would potentially give you lots of scope for brush strokes. So we'll just get that on there. Bobbity boom, bobbity boom, bobbity boom. So you can see, even over a yellow colour, Uriel Yellow is still a pig for coverage. Getting lag on the stream for some reason, says Paul Di Tommaso. I'm not seeing any drop frames, so it could be YouTube or it could be your connection. Paul at Team Inept picks up on the fact that I said an accidental rude word earlier on because I mispronounced slight shine. Yes, very good. Mark A, Spidicure, I have a picture, how do I show it? You can't put pictures in YouTube chat. There's no option to put pictures in YouTube chat, so you'd have to do it on somewhere like the Boom Hut. From Fox's hairdryer, Paul. Interference from the hairdryer. Nah, that'd be nonsense. That would. That's an impossible. Ray Aquilin is in. Hello, my friend. Good evening. Hey, Ray. How you doing, matey? Welcome, welcome. I'll give this a quick blast of the hairdryer. Hair drying across the universe. That's all bright and yellow, and I think it's actually all right. One last quick coat. But I'm going to do this as a slightly thinner coat. So I'm going to thin my paint a little bit more than normal, because it's more like a tint now. Because it's yellow enough, I just don't want to put a lot more paint on there. I think this should now give me a bright yellow without any real coverage issues. So there we go. Yes, this is a case where you want to use a brush that's bigger than normal, and these base brushes are really good for this. They're just good for... You might think, what's the difference between all the different brushes, you know, base and layer and all that kind of stuff. There is difference. They do have different hair types, different, what's the word? Like some of them are boar hair, some of them are different filaments, sable and things, so it is worth... I do actually really like the Citadel brushes. They're not the best in the world, but if your Games Workshop store is the easiest place for you to get brushes, like the nearest place, then yeah, they're alright, they're really good. Right, so that's that. How are you doing, Ray, my friend? How is it in Malta? What's the weather like in Malta at the minute? I bet warm and sunny. So, blast of the hairdryer. Again. Hairdryer, hairdryer, dabba 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 dabba. Okay, okay, right, now I need to get a shade out that I didn't get out, I don't think, earlier on. No, I didn't. Now we're going to do something cool. We're going to do a bit of shade nonsense. So we've got the yellow. I'll zoom in a bit. Now I have to tell you, the colour on here on your telly screen. Let's see if I can make that a bit more bold. Okay, that is more. I've just adjusted the yellow, the colour a bit. That's kind of more what the yellow looks like to me in real life. The colour was a bit pale for what you were seeing, but that's kind of more what it looks like. Now what we're going to do now, this looks a bit boring and flat. I want to get funky with it, so what we're going to do is we're going to make it interesting. I'm going to get some shade going on. There's that shade brush. I'm going to use the layer brush. Now we use the shade brush. First of all, I'm going to take a little bit of Cassandra yellow, which is an orangey shade, and I'm going to paint that. That's rubbish, that brush. Brushes all over the place. Let's not use that. Let's use the layer brush. A little bit of Cassandra yellow. First of all, I'm just going to put that in the recess here, but we're also going to put it around. Hang on, let me put the lid on this properly. I'm not very organised today, I'm a bit all over the place. Around this edge, this panel line. I'm going to take it round here like that. Then what I'm going to do is get most of the paint off on the brush, and I'm going to drag the shade out like that. Hope you can see that. That colour's terrible. I'll adjust it again for you. I'm dragging the shade towards the point of the missile, just to fade it a bit. So it's not just boring yellow, it kind of goes from a darker orangey yellow at this panel line to the more obvious yellow at the front. Let me adjust that colour again, because that's really weird. Is that the right colour? I'm not sure now. It's really difficult to get a webcam to have the right actual colour on it. Okay, so we've got a little bit of that Cassandora yellow there. I'm going to give it a quick blow. Quick blast to the hairdryer. And what we're going to do is go in with some more Cassandora yellow. And again, just start from the panel line here. Get a band of it going along. Not maybe that much, but band of that. Get most of the shade off the brush on a piece of tissue, and then again come back and we're going to drag that while it's still wet. We're going to drag it down like this. And it just gives a bit of variation. Makes it look a bit more interesting. Now it's a bit rough and ready, but it's fine. We can use some Fuegan orange, I think. Fuegan orange? Yeah, a little tiny bit of Fuegan orange perhaps, which is an even darker orange. It's like a dirty orange, rusty coloured shade. Do exactly the same again. Bit less this time though. Just a line of the orange, get the shade off, and drag it along. Don't really know what I'm trying to achieve with this. I'm just kind of winging it. Like I said, I wing these things. Sometimes it's good just to experiment. Doesn't always work. That hasn't really worked. I'm not that pleased with that, I'll be honest with you. Yeah, it didn't really work. It was worth a try. But no big loss. Dead simple to fix. Because all we need to do is go back in with the Celestra Grey. Well, give it a blast with the hairdryer first. Yeah, it didn't quite come out as planned. I kind of knew what I was trying to achieve, but it didn't quite come out where I wanted it to. So what I'll do, I'll probably go back, I won't do it now, but I'll come back in a bit later on, off camera maybe, and I'll just go back and I'll touch this back in as the grey, and I'll put that back as the yellow. It probably looks alright on camera, but it doesn't quite look good to me. It's a bit rough and ready, so I'm not quite happy with that. So we'll sort that out later on, that's no biggie. I just don't want to do it all now on camera with you, because you've sat and watched me do it once. Let's have a look. Have a good, Ray Aquilina says, good, and it's 19 degrees centigrade in Malta. Oh, I wish. Paul Di Tomasa says it's 5 degrees centigrade there, rain off and on, snow is melting away. It's in Canada. Colin's in, Festa 67 Workshop. Hey Colin, how you doing, matey? Mark A has put his picture in the group on Facebook. Nice one. If you give me a second, I'll add you into the group. One moment. Boom hut. Do. Oh, you're Odeon. There you go. Right, I've got it. It's in there, Mark A. Well done. We'll have a look at that in a bit. Yes, that didn't quite come out as planned. So what I'll do very quickly now, I'll just quickly give it a blast of. I'll go back over with the Avalanche Sunset. I'll do it now actually while I'm here. Go back over with the Avalanche Sunset. See, there's no reason to panic when things go wrong. Something doesn't come out quite right, just do it again. Have a mess with it. There's no right and wrong in this hobby, there's just having fun. So we'll get that back to the way it was. And it will look different once there's a gloss coat on there anyway. So we'll give that a quick blast. Then we shall give it a jolly good going over again with the Euro Yellow, my least favourite colour. There, Euro Yellow. There. How I hate you so. There we go. Just get that on there. But I'll try and blend it a bit so we still have a bit of the orange from the panel line. I may just leave it bright yellow. We'll see. I'm kind of doing it now, so I said I wasn't going to do it now, and I'm doing it. Never mind. Okay, so a bit more hairdryer. Doo-ba-doo-ba-doo-ba-doo-doo-doo-doo. Again with the Uriel, I'll just get that brush a bit more pointy. Go back in with the Uriel again, second coat. I'm trying to leave a little bit of the shade darkened bit in the panel line. That looks pretty cool. And it would look good once it's got a gloss coat on there when it's finished. Now what I'm going to do with this bit here, where there is the bit of shade that I splobbed, I've got a cunning plan. Let's do something different. Let's give it a hairdryer blast first. Now this might not work, but let's see if it does. I'm going to do a stripe. Now this is something I'll probably do as a decal, but we'll do it as a stripe now and see what happens. So I've got some Evil Sun's Scarlet. We'll get a little bit of this out on the palette. Palette of palettes. Because I did actually do a lot of dry brushing on that white area, the grey area, so trying to reproduce that, yeah, it's going to be a challenge. So why don't we instead do a stripe? So I've got myself my little layer brush. Bit of the Evil Sun Scar, it's a bit thin. Evil Sun Scarlet. And what I'm going to try and do is try as neatly as I can, yeah, good luck with that, to paint a stripe on here. Now this edge will be fine because I can use the panel line as a guide. The other end, not so much. Apologies if my hand is completely in the way. When you try to do stripes and stuff, the best tactic you can use is to try and make sure the brush is moving downwards towards you as much as possible. It's not always possible, but don't try and paint sideways, basically, is what I'm saying. Because if you're kind of going down towards you, it's how you can get the straightest possible line when you're doing freehanding. Give that a go there. I can hear Mama Fox doing something in the kitchen downstairs, but I don't know what she's doing. She was fussing around with the fridge or the freezer, and now she's doing something, but I don't know what. And I'm not sure, because the thing is, I make the dinners around here. I do the cooking, so it's not like she's making something for tea later on. So I don't quite know what she's doing. I'm looking forward to going and find out if she's suddenly like just made a pie or something without any warning. Oh, hello, there's a pie there, brilliant. Right, so we'll get that there. See, that's not going to work because I'm doing it towards it sideways, so we'll try it towards myself. Apologies if my hand's in the way. There's not much I can do about that. The brush isn't pointy. Ooh, I keep knocking the camera, which is a pain in the bum for you guys. Okay, so that's... It's rough and ready, but it's a stripe. Okay, I'm going quiet here. You can tell I'm concentrating bigly. Okay, how's that looking? Alright, let's do blast of the hairdryer. It seems to be now windy and hailing outside. I can hear hail stones bouncing off things. Wow, it's really windy outside. Wow. If I suddenly go off air, it's because like a cow has just come through the window or something. Bit more red there. And what I want to do is go back in with the original Celestra Grey and just straighten that up a little bit. And this is one of the tricks you won't know about when you watch like Warhammer TV and stuff. When somebody on a program says, now we're going to paint this thing here and do it like this, and then it cuts away and suddenly they've got this nice straight line. Yeah, what you don't see is them going backwards and forwards over and over again between one colour and another to try and get that nice straight line. They don't show you that. Little secret of the trade there. Can't say I'm super happy with this missile, but it'll do. Okay, that's there. So you got a bit of a. I'll zoom out a bit, as you can see. Where's zoom? Zoom. Yeah, I can't say I'm super happy with it. I think it's the yellow. Maybe it's just the yellow warhead that's not floating my boat. I don't know. I don't know. What I do need to do is sort that panel line out. For that, I'm going to use normal, I think, just to make it dead obvious. We'll do some stickery bits in a minute. I'm just getting this sorted first. That's a bit too much. For this, I'm just going to go straight into the panel line and just tidy it up. Just forgives all my sins. So that's that. Oh, I know what I need to do, actually get the normal open again, because we need to put some on the thruster bell at the back. I think this must be one of my least talkative episodes ever, because I'm just busy doing the painting. That's that. Bit of null oil on this thruster at the back. Again, remember, we'll be doing stuff to this thruster bell later on after the matte varnishes and things have gone on. So it doesn't matter right now that it's going to be matte and not shiny. That's absolutely fine, because we'll bring that back later on. Trick for now is just to get it looking, get the dark on. Remember, when you're using shades, the trick is to darken things down before you bring them back up again. I can't say I'm super enamoured of that missile. I might go over that Celestial Grey with something later on, I don't know. I'll put some decals on it just to break it up a little bit, and it will get a gloss varnish. And there'll probably be more stuff I add to it, but yeah. Right, let's have a quick look at the chat. George Gabriel says, to me a tape would help. Masking tape's no use at all when you're actually brush painting, to be perfectly honest. I mean, it would give me a nice straight line, but I'd still have to tidy it up. But I don't know, sometimes it's just more fun to freehand it. I think the hassle of trying to get tape around that, and then, yeah, it's just as quick to... I quite enjoy the freehanding bit. There's something about tabletop models that lends themselves to freehanded stripes and things like that. I think it just looks more tabletop-y. I don't know. That came out. That's not too bad. I mean, I might go over this. I don't know. I might go over this Celestial Grey with just a whiter colour later on. I might brush over that. I don't know yet. And the yellow warhead doesn't really fit, does it? Let's have a think. I'm thinking now. Let's have a think. Go over it with a smoky wash to calm it down, says Fester. What yeah, but it's the difficulty is though it will be clean and shiny because it's an unused warhead. I'm torn now. I'm torn. You know what? You know what? Let's do it. Let's go over with some. I'm going to go over. Frankie Goes Tobbled is in. Hey, Frankie. Going to go over with some Agrax. I think I just need to forget about the realism of these things and just and just get it done. I'm overthinking it, and that's the problem. As you get older, as you get older and you're making models, the older you get, the more you overthink things. When you're young, you just have fun with stuff and just play with it. Turn it down, like you said, Fester, with some brown wash. We're going to get some Agrax on there. As evenly as possible. I'll turn the yellow down a bit. I think what I'm going to do, oops. I think what I'm going to do is get that all through in grey back. Let's see if we can work some magic with all through in grey. Let's see what happens. I'm going to work it a bit thinner than normal. Maybe not that thin. We'll see how this works. It might work out, it might not at all. Let's find out. I've got it thinned a bit more than normal. I'm going to paint the fins just straight out. Got a bit on the metal there, but never mind. Probably something, wow, teeth. It's probably something I should have thought out before I did it live on air, I suppose. Okay, so that on there. Down there. Let's try it with the regiment brush instead. Where's my little... There it is. Okay, so we're going to try... Oh, locking the camera again, I apologise. Constant, isn't it? Try tidying up these fins. Miss apologies if I'm not talking much. I'm just getting carried away doing the painty here. So what I'm trying to do is build this all through and grey up, sort of like a glaze, but not quite. Just so that I can keep some of the slightly darker grey colour towards the panel lines, but have the middle of the edges. Right, start that again. Make it a lighter colour, but by doing it in thin glazy layers, because I've got it quite thin on the wet palette. Keep some of the shadowing, so it's not just painting over all of it. I don't know if it'll work. It'll probably look fine once you get a matte varnish on here, a gloss varnish or any varnish. That's the funny thing. Things can often look terrible till you put your varnishes on, and then suddenly everything just comes together. It's kind of funny and kind of frustrating sometimes when that happens. Okay, right, this seems to be working out a little bit. It's quite thought intense, so apologies I'm not saying much. Notice I'm trying to stay away from panel line areas a little bit, if you can even see what I'm doing. But on the fins I'm going in with a bit more thicker paint, just because then I can make them whiter. Mama Fox is still doing something in the kitchen, I'm not sure what. If I didn't know better, I'd think she was cooking. But that's not possible. Okay, get on that edge there. Bit there. Pull the paint back. So it's not going to be a nice clean white colour, it's going to be a slightly shaded colour, but I think this will be smoother than that dry brush effect, because that dry brush effect was quite kind of grainy and not brilliant. So again, I'm just building it up with layers. And I say the paint's a little thinner than normal. Just so it can have a slight glaze effect. I have to repaint the thruster bell because I made a bit of a mess of that. Okay, so it's not quite as terrible. Not perfect. Give it a blast of the hairdryers. Doodaloo, JS Idaho is in. Welcome, JS. So it's not horrendously terrible, it's just a bit rubbish. It's not the best in the world. I will be brutally honest with you as I knock the camera yet again. Oh. Yeah, it's not the best in the world, but it kind of works. Get some more. I kind of went over the lead belcher with the Celestra Grey, so I've got to redo that bit. But that's cool, because that means the outside of the end thruster bell is now shiny, shiny silver, and the inside is black, which is kind of what I wanted anyway. Okay, so that's there. A little bit underneath. I can see that you guys probably can't, but I can. Right, so that's there. Yes, what I'll probably do is add some decals to this anyway that just break it up a little bit. And once it's probably matte varnish and everything else, it'll probably be fine. I don't want to give it too much. Oh, no, I do want to do. One last thing I want to do. And this, watch me screw this up now, big style. I want to put a little metallic bit on the end of the warhead. So we'll do that. Because often on warheads, on modern day ones, you have like lenses and stuff, don't you, and cameras and things, so. And the actual detonator parts. I know you can't see this. And then again, once it's all matte varnish and everything's been finished, we'll go back over this bit with something shiny, just to make it stand out. So there you go, it's got a shiny bit on the end now. That breaks it up a little bit. I don't know if you can see that on camera. Shall I make it bigger? I can make it bigger. Let's make it bigger. Let's extend it a little bit. There we go. There you go. Bit bigger. Again, if this was a proper, like, you know, display model, like George says, I'd be like masking things off and doing proper masking tape and stuff. But it's not. It's just going to be a tabletop thing. It's a tabletop build, so I'm not going to be carefully masking. So if I was doing this to sell it, to put it on eBay and sell it, then yes, that missile would have been fully painted before it went even on the armature. It would have been masked and painted carefully and everything else. But this is just for tabletop. It just needs to look cool from like 4 feet away. Right, let's have a quick look at the chat. Then we need to do some sticker giveaways because it's been it's almost, well, it's already 5:15. Holy cow! See how fast things go when I'm getting carried away. 51 people watching already. Wow. Now remember, we're going to do some sticker giveaways. So remember, if you are watching this and you you're not in the chat, you're not going to win a sticker. So if you want to join the live chat, which is the typey bit, you can see the chat here, there. But you should join in the live typey chat as well. Just click on the YouTube icon, which is down here in the bottom right hand corner. That will take you to the YouTube page where you can join in the live text chat and you can win yourself a sticker. As always, don't forget, of course, just very quickly before we do the stickery giveaways, and I'm trying to find them, if you would like to help support this channel, this program, this episode, this stream, and all my content is brought to you by my beautiful patrons, my Patreon supporters, the people that keep me going and keep me in a job doing this. So if you would like to help support this channel, you can, first of all, if you're not already, become a subscriber. Subscribe and click the notification bell. You can also, if you want to, you can become a patron yourself at patreon.com/modelmakingguru. Like I say, everything I do is brought to you by my patrons. Thanks for their gracious support. And if you're not able to do that, don't panic. The other most important way you can help me is by watching my videos, making sure you like them when you see them, and also, if you can, it's a pain in the bum, but if you see an advert on one of my videos, sit through the advert. It's only 30 seconds, and it really helps me massively because I get a little tiny bit of ad revenue from that, so don't forget you can do that. So let's do some sticker giveaways. So today we've got a Gross Model sticker, a Festa 67's Workshop sticker, and one of mine. Yes. And as always, I'm going to pull the camera back a bit so you can see. Wow, the colour white balance is all over the place. Let me sort that out for you. It's a right mess. Hang on. Something's gone horribly wrong here. Something's gone awry. What's gone on here? Something's happened to the white balance and the gain. Don't quite know what's going on here. I'm just making some adjustments. One moment, my friends, while I do some funky goodness. Why is white kind of exploding? This is not normal. White should not be exploding. Where's my test device? There's my test device. There's my focus. There, and right, that's a bit better. White was kind of exploding and I don't quite know why. I think that's as close as we're going to get. Are we still in focus or are we out of focus? I'm not quite sure. Kind of out of focus a bit, I think. There you go. I think that'll do for now. If it's horribly out of focus, do let me know. Do let me know. Right, so let's do some sticker giveaways. If you've not seen this before, oh, Muse is going. Let me catch up with chat first. Hang on. I've missed quite a lot of chat here. Perhaps a medium grey instead of yellow, just a thought. For the missile, I'll go back to the missile. Yeah, I wanted to make it look kind of silly and over the top. I think I kind of succeeded on that one. Doesn't look brilliant. Tell you what, I won't do the chat now because I've missed so much. Let me come back to that. I'll come back to the chat in a minute. So if anybody's left, I apologise, I missed you. Right, so we're going to do some sticker giveaways. Right, so before we do these, by this point in the show, there's always a massive lag between the live chat and the video. So before we do anything, make sure to refresh your browser window and drag the slider across to the right hand side to make sure you're up to date with the video. So I'll give you a second to do that. If you've not played this before, it's dead simple. All I do is ask a question. Whoever gets the answer right first wins one of the stickers. Now keep in mind that you see the chat differently to me. You see the chat, when you type the answer appears on your chat instantly. But that's not how it actually works in the real world. In the real world, you type your answer, it appears on your screen, but it's on its way to YouTube, and it might take 2, 3, 4, 5 seconds to get there. And by that point, other people may have answered first. So I go off the chat I can see, which you can see, well, you could see there. I go off the chat I can see, which looks different to the chat you see. So yes, so you might, although you might be first on your screen, you might be not first in the real world, if you know what I mean. Anyway, right, so on this one I'm going to write the word buns, and on this one I'm going to write the word flaps. I don't know why. There you go, some fun words. So hopefully you've all by now refreshed and dragged the thing. Refresh and drag. So let's do some questions. David Butcher, that model's like, must not win a sticker, must not win a sticker, must not win a sticker. Right, so let's have a look. I do have some questions from that Scott sent in last week. So I've got loads left from Scott, so we'll do some of those. Okay. It looks like these are kind of all, well, some of them are related to Orkney and some aren't, so there you go. So I'm just going to refresh my chat window as well to make sure I'm up to date. Okay, right. First question. And I don't need the exact spelling, but it's got to be about right. Okay, first of all, first question. A bit of Google required here. What is the name of the famous stone circle in Orkney? Go. Famous Orcadian stone circle. Nim says puffins. It's a right answer, but not for this particular question. Actually, I've got, what was the name? I forgot what the name was. Okay, we have Cy Reynolds is in there first off with the Ring of Brodgar. It's the Ring of Brodgar. That's Scottish, not Orcadian, I know. So well done, Cy Reynolds. If you would care to choose a sticker, please. We will sit here in silence and stare at you until you choose a relevant sticker. So you can have Festa, me, or Gross Models. Which would you like? Dave's doing something and getting told off by Dad, but I don't know what. Cy Reynolds says Chris. So you want the gross models one. Quano Man says, could you repeat the answer? So that's Cy Reynolds. Cool. I don't mind when people win lots of stickers, because then it means I've only got one envelope for lots of stickers. Right, so that's Cy's done. Well done. What was Dave doing that you were telling him off for, Dad? Oh, Dave says I did it wrong on purpose. Oh, okay. Dave put the wrong answer in because he's not allowed to win stickers. He gets told off by the missus if he wins stickers. Pascal says, oh, no, I can't win the gross one. There'll be plenty more. Don't worry. Okay, I've got 2 left. So next question. Let's have a look. Okay, next question. Bit of a history one here. So again, Google may be required unless you know it anyway. Everybody ready? What was the name of the Royal Navy ship that was lost off the Orkney coast that was carrying Lord Kitchener? Go. It was a Royal Navy ship lost off the Orkney coast that was carrying Lord Kitchener. It's completely not Warhammer related. Don't expect that. You should all know that by now. Brian says says Chris. Phil Lewis says I managed to spell the wrong answer wrong. Dave says, oh, I know this one. Eru says Puffin. Bounty, no. Cy Reynolds again. HMS Hampshire. Cy Reynolds, you've won another one. Are you actually in the same room with Scott? And you're asking him what the answer is? Because okay, so yep, Cy Reynolds, you've got another one. Which one would you like, sir? Do. Oh yes, I just realised he's put Hampshite. You still got there first. It's close enough. No, just a Google kick. Yes, you are strong with the Google foo. Festus, please. Okay. Again, I don't mind because it just means that I have one envelope for like 35 stickers, which is cool. Now I have the full collection. I'm sure you got to catch them all. Gotta catch them all. Right. One more question for the Model Making Guru sticker. Okay, and it's another Google foo. So I'll just write Cy's name on the back of it now, shall I? So yes. Ready? What is the no, hang on. What is the number? So again, it's nothing to do with Warhammer. Everybody ready? What is the number of the U-boat that was sunk in Scapa Flow? Go. What was the number of the U-boat that was sunk in the Scapa Flow? SCAPA, Scapa Flow. It's all Orkney, really. You know Scott's going to ask you questions that are related to Orkney. Actually, what was it? I go off the answer I've been given. There may have been more than one, but I can only go off the answer I've been given. Ted's U-boot, says Frankie. The Ted boat. Das Ted board. I'm guessing there clearly was more than one because you're all getting the answer wrong, but you're all getting the same answer wrong, if you know what I mean. You're all getting the same wrong answer, but it's not that one. I wrote a piece of music once called U571, Chris at Team Inept, Paul at Team Inept. I'll give you a clue. It's got 2 letters in the number, if that makes any sense at all. It's not just a letter and a number. It's got 2 letters. UB40 says, I hate UB40. It says Hillary. Reese is in. Hey, Reese. I guess this might be one that nobody gets this one then. Now, as I say, I don't check the answers for correctness. So it could either be the answer is wrong, or it could be that there's more than one that nobody knows about the other one. I think nobody's going to get this one. I shall give you a countdown in a moment, a 10-second countdown. And if not, we'll go and do a different question. Cy Reynolds, I didn't hear the question. Which U-boat sunk on the Scapa Flow? Number of it. Is Scott here? I don't know. Oh, Stefan Last gets there in the end with UB116. Well done, Stefan Last. Finally, somebody got it. So well done, Stefan Last. You've won yourself one of my stickers. I shall, Stefan Last, put your name on the back there. Yay. So, if you've won a sticker tonight, or if I haven't sent any stickers out for weeks and weeks and weeks, they're in a big pile. I'm hoping to get to the post office in the next few days. So, anybody who's waiting for stickers, or if you're waiting for for example, a new Gundam Phil Kett, or if you all, Jamie, if you're waiting, Jamie Barron, I'm sending you some bits and bobs. They'll be going out in the next few days. So, if you've won a sticker today, all you need to do is pop me an email. The address is here, fox@modelmakingguru.com. Pop me an email with your name, your address, and just say that you won a sticker. If you're waiting for stickers already, send me another email anyway, because I go off the number of emails I've got in my inbox. If you've sent me 6 emails saying I've won a sticker each time, then I know you 6 stickers. So there you go. So there we go. So well done, everyone. What time are we on? God, it's almost 5:30. Blimey, it's gone really fast today. It's because I've been concentrating and not waffling, even though I've only painted like one thing. Now the 5-hour wait until it is dry, says LD. I guess he's just painted something. Right, I need to go back and check the chat that I missed earlier on. Because I missed a lot of chat, apparently. I don't know if it's allowed on the table. It looks a bit non-codex, says David Butcher, that model. What are you talking about, Dave? Because I missed that. We never do that in our videos, Fox. There's none of this cutting room floor stuff with us, says David Butcher, that model. I don't know what that conversation was about. The colours you paint on your models don't matter for gaming. The only thing is that it is the base size for measuring distance, says Tyrenki. Yeah, it's kind of true. It doesn't really matter what colour scheme you put on your models. If you're playing with someone, you just need to, if you're using a non-standard colour scheme, then you need to make sure that you say, I've got these guys, but say you've got some Space Marines you've painted pink with My Little Pony stickers on them and things. It's like, these are my guys, but I'm going to play them as Ultramarines or Death Guard or Ravenwing or something. You just need to let the other person know what rule set you're using, or what if it's a faction thing. Especially with Space Marines, you're going to say, right, these are these guys, but I'm going to play them as Ultramarines, or with Ultramarine rules, or with, you know, whatever faction, because different factions have different rules and perks and things. So you might need to do that. But yeah, it's the base size that's the important bit. So I mean, when I eventually play these, it doesn't matter they're going to be all the wrong colours and have Xeon symbols all over them. Like my Imperial Knights. One's going to be a goof. One is a Zaku. One will be a goof, and one will be a Charles Zaku. So I'll have 3 knights. But I'm just going to play them with. I'll pick a rule set, like, I don't know, whoever. One of the houses. I'll say I'll play them as these guys, and I'll play that rule set, even though they don't look anything like that. Because there's no, funny enough, there's no rule sets for Xeon. So there you go. Great space size, but in match play it would not be allowed on the table with a non-codex weapon loadout. The point I was trying to make, but Fox will only be playing open play, it'll be fine. I've got no idea what we're talking about now. Yes, I'll be playing just open play, because I'm not going to be that into the playing, probably. The only place I'll be able to play is at my local Warhammer store, so... Right, I'm gonna scroll forward now, because I kind of missed what the conversation was about, and it's going to take me forever to pick it back up again, so I don't want to sit here and try and figure out a conversation. Never mind. Right. All the hair drying, says Gross Model. Now I've got an earworm, says David Early. I still don't know what you guys are talking about. Frankie Goes to Hobblewood says 1 hour later here, because he's in Germany, so it's an hour after us. It's getting dark and we have a very strong wind and windy weather. Whoa! Yeah, it's been really windy outside today, actually. If there was a rat in your kitchen, what would you do? Asks Earl D. I'd look at it and say, seriously, I don't share with anybody. You've got no chance. Goodbye. My friends who have dogs over the years, it's quite funny, because like, if you go around to one of my friends' house, not all of them have dogs now, but as time's gone by, they've all had, like, some of them have had dogs and things. And as time's gone by, every time someone's had a dog, it's funny when I go around, because they'll sit and beg food from everybody. but it doesn't take long for a dog to realise it's got no damn chance getting food from me, and they just don't bother. After the first few attempts, they're like, you know what, screw it, you're not going to give us anything, are you? Nah, forget it. So it's quite good because basically they don't scav, they don't try and scav food from me, which is awesome. Right, what I'm going to do now is, we've only got half an hour, I'm going to very quickly paint this little bit of fabric-y stuff that's over the bolt. I'm not going to do a stripe on the front in this show because there's no time now, and I might even do that off camera anyway. So I'll do this little bit of stuff that goes around the bolter. I've not painted the housings yet for the bolters, the heavy bolters, but I'll do them at some point. So we want our brushings, and we want our waterings. How are we doing for camera position? There we go. So we're going to start off with some Xandri dust, and this is just going to be a base coat, just to cover up the green, basically. Because after this base coat, we can put on whatever we want. I'm going to go for a kind of canvassy colour. So a bit of Xandri dust. Dust. Anybody? No. Dust. Anybody? No. Dust. This is just to get a nice solid base coat down for whatever colour goes on top. So we'll just make sure it's on camera for you. Is it in focus or are we out of focus? I've got no idea. The telly screen's far too far away from me now. I don't know if this is supposed to be this colour, but it looks like it's almost like a canvassy netting cover. So I'm going to paint it in these colours anyway. A little bit of water in there, I think. Just a tiny amount. Yeah, it looks like some sort of soft, squishy, like fabric cover. So that is how I'm going to paint it. What's everybody? Here's the question that I haven't asked yet so far today. You can tell I've been busy working. What are you having or had or planning to have for your dinner? What are your meal plans for today? Or if you've had your meals already, depending on where you are in the world, what did you have? I don't know what dinner is tonight. I also don't know what Mum's been doing in the kitchen, so that's factoring into it a little bit. Now you can see here I can't get the brush down to the bottom of this little sort of canvassy bit, but like I said before, it doesn't matter. It's the line of sight rule. If I can't see it close up, then no one can see it from a distance. It doesn't matter. Don't worry about it. So yes, what are your meal plans or what have you had? Quick blast of the hairdryer. Dryer across the universe, always drying things because they need to be not wet. Okay, get a second coat of this going on. Apologies if you can't quite see much of this. See, what would be great is if I had like a GoPro stuck on my head and that was my official like stream camera. But the problem with that is, of course, every time I move my head, it'd be like it'd be like watching somebody play a first-person shooter, but with like, it's horrible. It'd be a nightmare. It would not be awesome. Sounds great, but you really wouldn't like it after 5 minutes. But at least that way you get an unobstructed view of whatever I'm doing, which would be cool. I need to... Cool. Haven't painted the casing on this weapon yet, so I'm not bothered if I get paint on around the casing part. Okay, bit of a hairdryer. 1 second. And then we will have a bit of the Agrax, because of course we will. I'll have a quick look at what you're all having for your dinner in a minute. Just going to get a bit of the Agrax on here. This can go quite dark, so it might even be more than one coat. It's going to be like a canvassy colour, I think. I've decided. Yeah, I'm going to paint the casing for the weapon at some point, so I'm not fussed about getting this paint on there right now. Doesn't actually matter at all. Okay, so that's there. What are you having for your tea? Let's have a look. I'm going to put a Scottish feel to my Conquest Ultramarines colour scheme, says Snowman HFC. Cool! That sounds correct to me. As half Scottish, I would say that I approve of that. Make them like, you know, the Glasgow Kiss Marines or something. But hey, come like me, yeah. Yeah, I won't say any more. Let's have a look. George Gabriel says, dinner will be crap cinema food, going with the wife to see Captain Marvel. Cool. Cool. Go for the nachos and the hot dogs. Popcorn I can take or leave. David Butch, that model, says, did anybody else see the picture on Facebook of the Weight Watchers van in the McDonald's car park? It made me chuckle. You know what? This is what makes me laugh about Weight Watchers food. Like, if you get like a Weight Watchers curry or a Weight Watchers chili or something, do you know, you get the food and some of it's quite nice, but the reason it's Weight Watchers, you get like a tiny portion. A number of times I've bought like in a moment of haste when I just need to make something to eat quick, and I'll get like a microwave chili con carne or something that's got rice and chili or rice and curry or something. I'll be like, oh, it's a Weight Watchers, and you get like that much rice, and I'm like, that's not even a mouthful. God, I don't know. Pascal Leverse had curry chicken. Ooh, very nice. Eru says, wee Tam McFeagle style. Oh, I eat. Wee Tam McFeagle. Quano Man is having a chippy tea. Ooh, sounds good. Butcher that model says, Eru, there's nae Clan McFeagles in here. Fox still has all his his beard hair. Aye, right, nae Clan McFeagles. I've got all my beard hair. With enough chips to support the entire spud industry of the whole planet, says Quano Man. Good man. Nim Cinderin is eating soft pretzel nuggets for lunch, and as for dinner, I have no idea, she says. Snowman HFC is having roast chicken and tatties. Ooh, yeah, a bit of gravy and everything else. Get some veg in there. McFeagle's Smurf Counterculture. For those that don't know, the McFeagles, it's a Terry Pratchett from one of the Discworld books. They're like little tiny Scottish sounding blue men. They're quite funny. If I remember rightly, the McFeagles. I can't remember what they're from now. Is it from We Free Men? I think the book's titled We Free Men, and the little tiny blue guys. Char Siu Pork says Redland. Oh yeah, Char Siu. Oh yeah. My local Chinese takeaway does wonderful food, but the one thing I love, the favourite thing, is these big, like, they're like little clouds. I think they're Char Siu pork buns. They're like this big, and it looks like a cloud, and it's full of sweet pork inside, but it's like a £5 for 2. And I'm like, I'd love them, but I don't want to pay £5 for 2. Yes, remind me in chat, the McFeagles from We Free Men. I never finished reading that. I got most of the way through it. Right, hairdryer time. Hang on, I need to see what I'm doing. I'm going to turn the microphone off for this one because it's a shade and they take a while to dry. So give me 2 seconds. I am returned. What we shall do now is another coat of the Agrax, because I can make this quite dark. Don't want it to be particularly light or anything. I'll get another coat of Agrax on there, like there to see. Lovely jubbly. Yeah, we free men, you know, if you've been paid a visit, you've got no booze left and your teeth is missing. Yeah, that's how you know you've been visited by the Clan McFeagle. Hey, Bob, Salty Balls Bobbington is in. Welcome, Bobs. I wish we had a dim sum palace round here. I could go for some dumplings, says Nim. Oh, yeah. Fox is doing his shampoo model impressions off screen again. Frankie goes to Hollywood. I had smoked salmon for dinner. Ooh. Very posh. Very posh, that smoked salmon. Very swish. Right, now, what we're going to do now is I shall, while I've got a few moments, I shall dry brush the tank tracks a little bit. Just a little tiny bit. I can find a small dry brush. Where's my other little ones that I used earlier on? There it is. Should be dry by now. Let's find... Yeah, it's lead belcher. We'll do it with lead belcher. Now, if you remember, I said I want the tracks to be like rusty looking and used, but they're not going to just be brown. Now, I'm going to do some shiny dry brushing later on for like, once all the matte varnish has been done, so it can just have some specular highlights. But what I think I'll do for the moment is just get a layer of dry brushing of metallic on here for the time being. I'm not using like Necron compound because I don't need it to be shiny right now. I just need it to be silver and lighter. So we'll get, I don't know what I've got, there we go. Muttering to myself, ignore me. So we can do it with some lead belcher to start with. I've got far too much paint there. Let's just not use that one. That brush is too big anyway. Put that brush to one side. I've used so many brushes today. I'm going to be doing all the brush cleaning later on. I'll tell you that for nothing. Right. So there we go. And all we're going to do is just very gently get some dry brushing on these tracks. I've got almost no paint on there. Because what I really want is, I want them to look brown and rusty and corroded, but not like all over. I want them to look like they're metal, but that there's corrosion and browning in the recesses and other places. Because then when I do other bits later on, of course, it'll all just add complementary to it. Because they are, you know, they're in contact with the road wheels and stuff, and the rust gets worn away. So you do get rusty tracks. If you look at old World War II tanks, they often had brown and reddy brown tracks. And these are in contact with the road surface or the ground, so I may as well get this bit done now. Because there's going to be more adding on later on. This is just to break up the colour. Because once I matte varnish this and it's been weathered, you won't really see. But this is just to make them look a little less like just brown. More like actually made of some sort of metal. For the moment. I can always do other brown washes again later on. Just about building these things up in layers, that's all. I don't really have to worry about underneath because I don't really see that, but a bit too much on there, I think. But I want to make the wear even because obviously the tracks get worn even. I'm not going to bother about underneath here because I'm not going to, or should I? Should I do it anyway? Yeah, I suppose I should really, shouldn't I? In the interests of doing things. Okay, now again, as I say, this will just go matte when it gets varnished, so that metallic effect will be lost. But Again, I can add more to it later on. There'll be more like washes and things on there. Just keep it subtle. Hopefully we're on camera, yes. Keep it subtle-ish. I know there's armour builders out there screaming at me now because I'm doing this all wrong, but you know, I say I'm doing this for tabletop. I'm not doing this as a display model. It just needs to look good on the tabletop. That's all that matters. I'm not reproducing a real World War II tank here or anything. So hopefully what we've got now is we've got some metallic, silvery metallic tracks with just a hint of the brown, the reddy brown colour in there. So they're not just silver. They've got that kind of silver brown texture to them. It doesn't really come out on camera like I said, as well as it does in real life here, but you get the idea. It's just got a hint of it, a hint of that. And it also means that this will, when I take this out of the cupboard each week, it sticks to the glass, so that'll stick even more now. Okay. Doodle-doo. That looks sort of similar to how I did the Gundam tracks on the tank cannon jobby, says Quano Man. Yeah, there's loads of different ways of doing tracks, just have fun with it. They are going to be covered in dirt and dust and stuff anyway, so at the end of the day it doesn't really matter too much. Right, but I think what we're going to do, I'll call it quits there for today. Not done bad, we've done quite a bit. We've blued up the metallic gun parts, we've got the missile painted, we've done the tracks, and I've started on that little canvassy bit on the main, on the front bolter, big bolter thing there, heavy bolter, whatever it's called, big fat gun, shooty gun, bullet thrower, I don't know, I'm just talking rubbish now. So let's get this turret back on there. So it's coming on along nicely. I might go off and do a bit more work off camera, I don't know. I might do some work off camera. We'll see. We'll see. I might do some striping on it and just do that off camera. I don't know yet, because if I do it here or here, I'm gonna have to be really careful and take my time doing it. So I don't want to make a screw up of that. Oh, somehow that's a bit wrong. I've scraped some paint off. Oh, I've touched that in. I've scraped paint off there somehow. Bugger. Oh well, I've touched that in a bit. I'll fix that a bit later. Or should I just fix it? I'll fix it now. Hang on. Let me fix it now because it's going to bug me if I don't. Oh, I don't know how I've done that. Scrape paint off it somehow. That's insane. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. It's gone right down to the plastic. I don't know how I've done that. How bizarre. Hang on. Hairdryer. Emergency surgery. Hang on. Hang on. Emergency surgery. First off, we'll get some Celestra Grey on there to colour it, to block it in. There we go. How very bizarre. It's not like it's on a massively exposed surface, so I don't know how that got scratched or what scraped the paint off that. The other thing, of course, is I can just, when I put some decals on the missile, I can be tactical in where I put my water slide decals. As in, I can put a big fat decal right over this area if it doesn't blend in quite well. There you go. Touched in and fixed. I'll just make sure when I do the decals to put a nice big decal over this bit, and that will just hide that bit there because it's got a bit of a texture to it now where the paint got rucked up. But that's fine. I can decal that and hide it with the decals. It's not a problem. Right. Anyway, yes, quick fix done. Right, so let's get this bit on. We'll do that again. We were about to do a wrap up there, weren't we? So yeah, we've done quite a bit today. So I might go off and do some off camera. We'll see. I've got quite in the mood now, so I might carry on. Anyway, let's have a look and see. Quick last look at the chat. Bring the camera down a bit. Because you can look at the thing then. Adjusting the focus. Oops. Apologies. Wibbly wibbly. Colour's still a bit off. It's a bit brighter than you're seeing it there. It's not quite as dark as that. I don't really want to mess with anything now because I got it all just about right. Close enough. There we go. Anyway, that's going to do us, I think, for today. Let me just get it in focus one last bit. There we go. A bit better. Yeah, that's going to do us for today. So we've got the steel blued up a little bit. We've got missile painted. We've got this bit going. We've done some bits on the tracks. We've still got tons and tons and tons to do on this before we even get anywhere near decals and weathering. So yeah, we'll crack on with that next time. I'll have a quick last look at the chat. So Frank Eddy smoked salmon. Bob Salty Balls Bobbington had just had beef stew and dumplings. How weird. Oh, beef stew and dumplings. Oh. Snowman HFC says I'm off to start cooking. Have fun all. Bye. Thank you very much for coming in, Snowman. You're probably not seeing this bit now, but thank you for coming in. I have fish soup, says Rare Quilina. Interesting. Interesting. Fish soup. Have lots of breads with the soups. West Side says, wow, dope. How can I participate in the contest? There is no contest. What contest, dude? Which contest do you mean? If you mean the sticker giveaways, we've done those. Hey, Gross Model, says Paul at Team Inept. You know what I'd like to watch? A fun Warhammer live stream at about 8 PM tonight, UK time. If only. Does someone do one at 8 PM? Yes, once this stream is finished, and I've done with you, and you can go on your merry way, don't forget to come back to YouTube at 8 o'clock tonight, 8 PM, every Sunday. Chris from Gross Models, who's in the chat at the minute, or was in the chat, my good friend, he does a little Warhammer stream at 8 o'clock for an hour and a half or so. He's working on his Taurox Prime before he then goes to work on his Mega Knobs. And he's an absolute beginner in the Warhammers. So he's just having fun with his. So yeah, go and check him out. It's Gross Models. You click on his name in the chat. Click on the three little dots and go to his channel. Make sure you subscribe. Teach me how to win, says Westside. Don't know what you're talking about, dude. Yo, lovely mods. How can you win the 40k stuff? Oh right, okay, I get you. Sorry, my apologies. Okay, yeah, for the 40k stuff. Here's how it works. It's kind of the end of the show now, but I'll be back next week. This here is the Stream Boss Battle. Aviad Madar was the last person that won the Stream Boss Battle. Basically, when you win, you become the Stream Boss, and you start off with 100,000 health. So Aviad is the current Stream Boss. His health is down to here. You can see all this is black where his health's been taken off. Basically, the way it works is every time somebody does a super chat, which is the little dollar symbol at the bottom of the chat window, or every time somebody puts a tip through the tip jar, which is down here, streamlabs.com/model-making-guru, then that takes off some of the Stream Boss's health. Now, the more you put through, as the bigger tip you do, or the bigger money you put through the super chat, then the more health that gets taken off. So if you do $1, it takes off so much. If you do $5, it takes off more health. Basically, whoever gets Aviad to 0 health, the first person or the person that actually gets him to 0 becomes the new Stream Boss, and all the money raised through the super chat and the tips goes into a pot, and the person that gets him to 0 becomes a new Stream Boss and wins all the money in that pot. But what they actually do is, basically, when you win, if you become the Stream Boss, I will mail you and say, hey, you're the Stream Boss, the budget is, and all the money that's raised through the super chats and the tips is in a pot, and I tell you how much is in the pot, and then you just tell me what you want to order from Games Workshop or from Forge World, and I go and use that money to order that for you, and it arrives on your doorstep. So you basically, last time Aviad won, he got 280 quid's worth of stuff. He got lots of the Kill Team stuff and all bits and bobs and stuff like that. So yeah, it usually get 200 or 300 quid in the pot. So whoever gets him down to 0 health becomes the new Stream Boss. So it's tips and super chats. And if you're not already subscribed, become a subscriber. That takes a tiny amount of his health off. Stefan Lass says, off to celebrate sticker winnage with whatever I can find in the freezer. See you next time. I've missed you again, but see you next time, Stefan. Let's have a look. That stubber or autocannon, asks Eru. That is a heavy stubber, I think, if I remember rightly. It's not an autocannon. I think. I could be wrong. Boss battle, Foxx will explain. Yes, I just did. I didn't know what you meant then. I forgot I've got the thumbnail says win 203 quid worth of stuff. Sorry about that. Cool game. Dope, so it's gambling. Haha, cool game, says Westside. It's not really gambling, is it? You're all chipping into a pot, and whoever gets him to zero is the one that wins. It's like playing Monopoly, and instead of playing the normal rules Monopoly, every time you go through Go and you get whatever, you put money in the middle, and whoever gets to jail, or I can't remember how it works now, you have the pot in the middle. If you go to jail, you get the pot. I can't remember how that works. Or if you land on Go. Looking great, Fox, says Ray. Thank you very much. What software are you running to do the boss battle thing on YouTube, says Westside. I am streaming through Streamlabs OBS, and it's a part of Streamlabs. It's one of their little add-ons. That's why the tip jar is streamlabs.com/model making guru. It's just one of the little add-ons for Streamlabs OBS. Swig of coffee, and then we'll call it quits. Big coffee, as always. I've got most of it done now. The size of that. Oh, it's like looking down a well, isn't it? I just need a kangaroo to come and tell me there's a boy down the well. Yes, so done quite a lot today. I might do some off camera. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Lovely chimera, says Westside. Thank you. Thank you very much. Got loads to do. I've got tons to do. Like I say, we've still got bits to paint. I want to finish that little canvas bit. I've got to paint the housings for the weapons. I've got a stripe to put on there somewhere, or a couple of stripes. Again, if you weren't watching at the start when I explained, this is going to be a Mobile Suit Gundam Principality of Zeon themed army that I'm working on. I've done an Imperial Knight. I've done some Space Marines. I've got a couple of armigers done. I've got loads more to do. So, yes, it's going to be an Imperial Principality of Zeon themed army, which I can't wait to get finished and get playing with. But we've got lots to do. We've got to put some stripes on it somewhere. Red, black and white. I have to... What else? I've got to physically... I've obviously got to paint the guy, but I'm going to paint the guy off camera because he's too fiddly. I've got to paint the inside of it there. I've got to paint the periscopes, some other bits and bobs. So we'll get the last details painted. Then it's... I might just do the last little bits of detail painting off camera. Then it's decal time. Get the decal on there, and then it's time for weathering. Yes, paint chips. All that kind of stuff. And we'll do the decals before we do the paint chips, because obviously paint chips take... In real life, it's painted on. It's not a decal, so they'll go on first. So then we'll get lots of weathering done. What else? Yeah, so decals, details, decals, and then weathering, and I'll paint the little dude off camera. I haven't decided what colour scheme I'm going to use on my Imperial Guard figures yet, so that's why I've not painted him, and I might not paint him for a while. So anyway, yes, let's have a look. Yes, so don't forget to go and watch Chris's live stream tonight, 8 o'clock, Gross Models, where he will carry on with his Taurox. Don't forget, of course, tomorrow night, Monday night, it's myself, Chris and Ted do the eModels live stream on the eModels YouTube channel, emodels.co.uk, my channel sponsors. We're doing the live stream there tomorrow. I am halfway through working on the next instalment for the Warhammer Conquest. A couple of issues I'm doing are the group of 5 Space Marines, where you get the Intercessors, the Inceptor, and the Hellblasters. So I've got them to do. I've also got... I'm going to do the first painting of the big shipping crate thing. I've put one to one side to do a full paint job. But the one I'm going to paint one like it says in the magazine, but I'm going to do a little bit of advanced painting on it. I'm going to show you how to make it look like the one in the magazine, but a bit better. So not a full paint job, but just something a bit more interesting. Than just painting it blue and silver, and there you go. No, it's boring. I'm going to do a little bit of shading on it. So yeah, we'll get that done. So they'll be coming over the next, week or so. I've not started yet on the next U-Boat episode. That will be coming along though soon. What I'm going to do as well, I've started doing an occasional Elite Dangerous live stream. I've kind of got back into Halo, because I re-downloaded the Halo Master Chief Collection. And I'm debating whether to do a live stream of a playthrough of all the Halo games. But I don't know yet, because it'd be a long, drawn-out thing. I don't know if you guys would want to sit and watch that particularly, so I don't know. I'm playing through original Halo Master Combat Evolved at the minute, which for a long time was my favourite game in the whole world. It was a brilliant game. And I have to tell you, Master Chief Collection, Combat Evolved, I play it on the original graphics because they're much better than you. I just like the original graphics. It just works. But it's beautiful. It's in 4K. It's like really nicely done. It looks fantastic in the original graphics, but 4K is like beautiful done. Unfortunately, it's the PC version, so some of the fog effects don't quite work. But hey, whatever. Some of the transparency is a bit rubbish. And I know that Saber, whoever it was that did the remaster, the only thing I don't like about it is... Oh, Dad's off. Thanks for coming in, Dad. Take care, matey. Zadster's gone as well. Thanks for coming in, Zadster, and see you again. I'm still talking, though. You can't go yet. I'm still talking. Yeah, so I do like the revamped graphics, but I prefer the originals. The only thing that makes me sad is that they reworked the audio, and some of the sound effects are just not there. They've reworked some of the weapons, which is fine. They all sound quite good. But there's certain ambient sound effects that just are missing. Like there's a bit when you go up to the assault on the control room, you go up the pillar, the pyramid in assault on the control room, and you go past these big pillars that are at the top. And there's a specific sound effect that is just ambient sound. It's not there. And you know, the grunt chatter is not quite as there. There's no sound when you're in the Pelican. There's no ambient sound of the Pelican engines while it's hovering to let you in and out. It's like, it's a shame. The sniper rifle, it's not quite the same, but I'm liking it. I got that Halo full game set for Xbox One. It's fab, says Quanaman. Yeah, the Master Chief Collection. It's got Halo Combat Evolved, Halo 2, Halo 3, ODST, Halo 4. It's missing Halo Reach. It's missing Halo 5, obviously, because it wasn't out then. It's missing... was there something else? Halo 2, 3, 4, ODST. Yeah, it's got those. It's just missing Reach. And it's missing 5. I mean, I'm not a big fan of 4 and 5, but, you know, hey. So I don't know. I don't know whether to, like, do a very slow, long, drawn-out playthrough. I just sit and play through all the Halo games, single player, and stream it while I'm doing it. I might do. Although I'm really resenting having to play through Halo 2, 3, 4. I just like Combat Evolved. Nothing beats Combat Evolved. It's just great. Right, anyway. Where are we? Earl D says, driving the wife man, playing Home Sweet Home on my little guitar, singing in the style of the Chipmunks. Oh dear. Halo Wars, says Gross Models. Never tried that. Oh, actually, I know I did. All units. Yeah, I'm not into RTS, so I didn't really take to that. Dad says, I'm back. Oh, bye. Hello. We all noticed, Fox, your absence was noted in comments made. Noticed what? Wait, what are we talking about? I noticed. What did I not notice? I'm lost now. I'm confused. Guilt trip him, Chris. I don't know what the guilt trip is about because I don't know what you're talking about. So I'm like, no guilt here. No guilt whatsoever. You have to remember, if I say something out loud here on the telly and then you respond to it in chat, by the time I see your response, I've forgotten what I said. So I don't know. So yes, anyway, so I might do that. Because I'm liking the Halo at the minute. You can't beat good old Halo. But original soundtrack, original graphics. It's almost the original sound effects, but not quite. It's like when you're in a Banshee, there's no sound. It's like you don't get the whole reason it's called a Banshee is it's got that kind of wailing, screaming sound as you fly. It doesn't have that because they reworked the audio. It's like, you killed it. Never mind. Anyway, that's going to do us. I think it's 6 o'clock. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Stay tuned for E-Model show tomorrow. And more stuff coming on my channel. If you want a sticker tonight, don't forget to mail me, fox@modelmakingguru.com, with your name and your address and which sticker you won, and I'll get that out to you. I should be doing some mailing in the next few days, so people waiting for stickers and prizes, new Gundam, and bits for Jamie Bear, and they'll go out in the next few days. Until then, don't forget to go and join the Model Makers Boom Hut if you're not a member. Facebook.com/group/Model Boom Hut. It's the best Facebook group for the model making in the world ever. And don't forget, of course, if you'd like to support this channel, pop along to my Patreon, patreon.com/modelmakingguru, and become a supporter. It's my patrons that help me keep doing this. They allow me to do these programs, so thank you very much. Anyway, that's going to do us. I shall say until next time, go make something awesome. Go be awesome. Goodbye, Ray. Thank you for saying that. Go be awesome. Go make something awesome. Go be awesome. And until next time, adios, amoebas. That didn't work, did it? It took forever for the music to start. Oh, everything's on a lag. I need to make some changes to this nonsense. Right, take care, everyone. Bye for now.